What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I am your host, Nick. We got the household with us, and we got a lot to get into. I know it's Wednesday, so thank you guys for adjusting your schedules. I hope this didn't confuse most of you. As we mentioned, it is Wednesday. It's a little bit of disjointed because we have, the Vanderpump and the Valley episodes. The finale was last night, which we're not going to actually get into Vanderpump Reunion Part 3 today. We're going to get that in tomorrow for ongoing deeper. Our reality roundup portion, the intro. We're going to start things off talking about Vanderpump Episode 3. And then we have Emma Hernan from Selling Sunset with us tomorrow on Going Deeper as well. That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved her.
Loved. What else? Housekeeping notes. But also today, Nia and Danny from the Valley are with us to talk about their little hiccup, a little bit of a fight last night on the Valley, which we'll get into the meats and potatoes of it next week, other than the Danny stuff. But boy, it was enlightening. Can they make it? Will they make it?
So many questions.
Little disappointed in Daniel, but hopefully there's an explanation. Maybe it was just like, you had a bad day. You know, that's a problem with reality TV, I think, sometimes. And I'm curious to ask them because, again, like Nia and I would never do this. I don't know if you would ever do that, a show like this with Connor.
Nope.
Just because, like Nia and I, we try to be, she's on the show now. We're in the public eye. And sure, we talk about a relationship from time to time, but we're not reality TV stars. We did not sign up to put our entire lives, our entire relationship out to the public, just because it's not a recipe for success. I mean, for us, like maintaining our relationship is doing all the work behind the scenes. And, yeah, we're thankful that we have so many more great days than not great days. But every relationship is hard work and there's a grind. And sometimes you're upset with each other and frustrated. And sometimes you're disconnected and all those things, that even the healthiest relationships have.
Yeah, I feel like everybody would like to think that they could survive a reality show like this. And then when you actually get there, I mean, I have no experience at all, so I don't know, but I'm assuming it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, because like
everyone thinks they'll beat the odds.
Your whole job is to
bring the drama.
Yeah. And again, I don't know, like Nally and I, for us, like we don't have rules per se, but like one thing we talk a lot about is being a team, being a united front, like protecting each other, not feeling the need, like I always remind, I've had a little bit more experience in the public eye, but now Nally reminds me too, sometimes I'll remind her of things and I'll need her to remind me, but that like, we don't owe anyone anything. We don't have to answer every question asked. Sometimes, weekly, I should do it. I haven't done it in a while, but those weekly Ask Me Anythings, where I do like questions with Nick and it's a lot of relationship advice.
Like on your Instagram story?
Yeah. Well, like people don't see your questions. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll get hundreds, thousands of questions and a lot of, again, relationship advice. And there is something like the psychology of it. Like I know that people don't see the questions, so I can look at all the questions and I can decide which ones you answer, but you get in a rhythm of answering just like whatever questions. And there's this feeling of not wanting to be rude or to answer every question.
Feeling
the pressure,
like you
almost feel like you owe an answer. But answers in general, like forgetting about doing an Ask Me Anything. But like, I think when you are in the public eye, there is that feeling of, you have to be authentic or at times where it's just like, no, not everything is for everybody. But if you are Danny and Jess or Brittany and Jax or Jess and Michelle, it's literally part of your job, which is why it's just like, when for other times people, it's like, would you and Natalie ever do something? It's just like, no, like if our relationship was the focus and part of that focus was to be authentic and show our cracks and show our the things that we have to work on and then talk about each other in confessionals about each other's behind each other's backs in the spirit of authenticity. There's a reason why so many of those relationships don't work out.
Yeah. Also, making a reality TV show, even if you have 47 good days and one bad day, that one bad day is what's going to make it on air.
Yeah. We also had Danny from last night, and it's like, holy shit, Dan. It's just like, but and not condoning how
behavior,
but that is the problem with social media and TV. It's just like we act like we have to be perfect. You know, like that even the best relationships, there aren't moments where you have to apologize. Or even the healthiest relationships, there are moments where you have to say, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I hurt you like that. Shit, you know, it's that's life. But on these types of shows, everything is magnified and glorified.
Would you do like a game show though? Because I'm thinking back to last season of Traitors where Andy Cohen basically was like, there's a cultural difference between like, let's say Bravo stars and then like game show people.
For sure. I mean, listen,
where like Bravo, it's more personal.
I'm saying Nelly and I would never do like some kind of docuseries reality TV star where us as people and by proxy our relationship, like Brittany and Jax or Danny and Nia, like is the focus. And you know, or Real Housewives, you know, where they to be on the show, like we hear all these rumors where it's just like, Dorit, you have to talk about your separation from PK or you won't be on the show. Which, as I always say, like we enjoy talking about these people, we enjoy watching these people, and we enjoy criticizing these people at times. But I do think we always have to acknowledge they are giving. You know, we can sit there and question, why would you even do this? But they are doing it, and we do enjoy watching it, and we do enjoy their willingness to give us that material so that then we can have the commentary on it. And I do think we have to recognize that it is a sacrifice these people are making. A sacrifice I wouldn't even, I think sometimes people are crazy to make, but a sacrifice nonetheless. And we can criticize, well, why are you doing it? Maybe you're doing it just for fame, whatever. But nevertheless, we want these people to do the thing that we would say, I can't believe you're doing.
Yeah, and you also never know like what situations you're going to be put in because of the show that, you know, for example, in the Valley last week's episode, they're having boy chat and they're all sitting outside and, you know, Jesse's bringing things up, Jax is bringing things up. And like when you're having boy chat and they're bringing certain things up about their wives.
Like I would fucking never.
Right. It's hard because then it's like, do you want to be part of the conversation? Are you going to engage? Are you going to talk about your wife? Like
that's the tough part, right? Because like, you don't want to feel like you're not, I wouldn't, I mean, even forget about TV, you know, like that's not how Nelly and I operate. Like I'm like I wouldn't get together with my guy friends, like guys I grew up with in high school, and you know if one of them came to me in like some kind of, hey Nick, I really need to talk. Me and so were having problems. You know, even then I would never bring up. I would never use something about my relationship or talk about Nelly in a way that was in any way negative, just for an example. Without, you know, if I had Nelly's permission, sure. If it was like, hey, I want to talk about this, you know, and, you know, if I had her permission to be open about something that we work together or like, you know, but I would never behind her back complain or share my frustrations about my wife to my friends in the spirit of like being one of the guys. That's just...
Especially if it's being recorded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Forget about the TV show, but like so many. But I think so many people like they talk about like what's the number one reason for divorce is contempt. You know, like is not respecting your partner. You know, and when you start complaining to your friends, and it's not that Nia and I don't have things to complain about. It's just like how you do it and how you choose to do it, and I think matters in relationships.
It's essentially airing out your dirty laundry. Like it's like when you're bringing that to a public forum, it's kind of the end of what makes a relationship sacred. You know, it's like we should be able to work through our issues together and not need 50 other opinions, let alone other people's input saying like what you should and shouldn't be doing in your relationship.
Yeah. I always just, you know, we want to be a united front. Speaking of Natalie, unfortunately, she couldn't join us today. Our baby River is teething, I think. I don't know. She's not feeling that well. She's got baby sickness. Nothing I don't think we need to be concerned about, but mom stayed home
Needs
today.
her mom.
Mom stayed home today.
Yeah.
We did go to the lake, though.
It was pretty.
How was that?
So good. I hope everyone out there is lucky enough to do something as nostalgic as I was able to do in terms of buying my grandfather's house back. It's like I'm living a literal dream. It is there's something about going back to that place every time is like, not to sound corny or whatever, but like it really puts things into perspective for me. It's just like, it is like the happy place to like go to a place where for so many years I literally like had the dream like had this recurring dream of being back at the lake and being back on the lake, and then I would always wake up. And now when I go on the lake, I'm like, I'm about to wake up from my dream, and it's so crazy, but it's and to think about River going there and growing up there, it's like it is a great feeling. I hope everyone's like is lucky to go back to your childhood or like remember things, find something nostalgic. It really is it's a great thing. I love it. I love going there. We had fun.
The weather looked nice.
The weather was decent.
Rain,
well, yeah, we actually had it was fine. It was an impromptu trip. We had a lot of family members there.
Yeah, it looked like you had who went with you guys?
Well, we decided to go last minute, and but then my sister Maria and they were like they're already going to visit my parents, and my parents were like, "Well, you're welcome to come." I'm like, "No, I know I bought the house."
Oh yeah, duh.
But no, so like a lot of them live in the area, so they were going up, and so we kind of crashed, but which was fun. I don't know, maybe that's why we were sick. I don't know. A lot of kids. I don't know. Anyways, we had a great time.
Good.
You know who didn't have a great time? I don't know if there's a segue.
He was not having a great time.
Were you drinking any spritz on the lake?
I was not drinking any spritz.
How about
on the lake.
LoverBoy?
I was not drinking LoverBoy on the lake. No.
Neither one.
Well,
is anyone keeping up with this drama going on between LoverBoy and Spritz?
I saw a little bit of it.
Absolutely.
Team not LoverBoy.
Yeah.
Your team not LoverBoy. Your team Craig.
And Spritz.
I've met Craig once. Super charming. And from what
Southern charm, perhaps?
Yeah.
And we had Ben.
We had Ben here. Yes. I really like Ben. Ben seems like a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Ben Soffer from the Good Guys podcast. He's married. Ben is married to Claudia, who is a host of The Toast.
Host of The Toast.
It's the whole podcast community going on. I don't know Kyle, but I do judge a book by its cover at times. How he treats Amanda on camera matters, I think, in terms of your character. How he goes about his business decisions.
I was like, Amanda made a really good point too in one of the episodes where she was like, I just thought being an entrepreneur that like we would start this company and then you would sell this company and like we would just be like living large and like it's just him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't allow any investors. So it's like he has sole equity in his company.
Right. Well, that's part of the drama. So apparently Kyle went on Watch What Happens Live recently. He was visibly upset, and Andy Cohen pointed it out. He's like, you look upset about this. And he basically said that
is that how it got brought up?
Andy asked Kyle what his opinion was of Craig being an investor of Spritz Society. Kyle must not have seen Craig's post or something because he was like, I don't think he invested, but we've talked about it, but alluding that he lied to him in some way, shape, or form.
But what made Andy ask that? Because like there's a lot.
Asked it, right?
Craig posted on Instagram
that he was
about
a part of.
That he's proud to announce that he invested in Spritz Society.
Yeah. He put an Instagram post and I linked it.
But what did that have to do with LoverBoy?
Because Craig comes on to Summerhouse a lot, and since Spritz is a direct competitor of LoverBoy, he was like, "How do you feel about your castmate's boyfriend?"
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So Spritz and LoverBoy are. They just are, like, whether they want to admit it or not.
They're both in the alcohol beverage.
Yes.
LoverBoy also makes a Spritz, so they do hard teas and Spritz.
Yes.
But does Spritz make a non-alc? So
I don't know which
maybe there's a lay in there for LoverBoy.
Not sure. But anyway, so Kyle basically said the way that he handled it really rubbed me the wrong way. I'm just trying to take the high road. And then said he has a reputation of lying and he lied to me. This is about Craig.
Yeah. See, I feel like the drama comes from the LoverBoy side, in my opinion.
Well, he also said a bunch of things about Spritz Society and how.
So, but to be clear,
he said that Ben took him that he and Ben got dinner or something or went out, and he felt that Ben was just trying to milk information from him.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all things that then Claudia addressed on the toast.
Kyle accused Ben of going to dinner, and at said dinner. Then accused Ben of
that they got
because I believe
Kyle and Ben.
Okay, I'm confused because I know that Craig went to dinner with Kyle and told him that, "Hi, I have an opportunity to invest into Spritz Society. I will not invest, and I will invest in LoverBoy if you would give me equity in the company." Kyle said no, and in turn, Craig went and invested into Spritz Society, and now Kyle is claiming that there's some sort of lie in there, but it sounds like Craig was 100% transparent, gave him the option to invest with him, said no.
Right.
That's why I said the drama's coming from Loverboy side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kyle just made a poor decision.
We don't know what the lie is, according to Kyle.
Well, Kyle's trying to take the high road. So it's like a...
What do you mean he's trying to take the high
That's what he
road?
said on Watch What Happens Live. So he's just alluding to a lie.
Yeah, he didn't say
There's no
what
clarification
the lie.
of what the lie is.
Right. And then Claudia was basically saying Loverboy doesn't take on investors. It's just Kyle, and he certainly doesn't give any equity to his castmates or fellow influencers or Bravo stars. And that, yeah, Craig took Kyle out before the announcement was made and told him that he was going to, do this partnership with Ben and the Toast. But if he would let him invest in Loverboy, he wouldn't do it. And then she says that Ben didn't milk Kyle for information, which is why I assumed they got together. I believe I saw that on Watch What Happens Live, but I could be wrong there. And then
But Ben
the
and
biggest
Kyle
part,
had dinner at some point and talked about their respective.
I thought I heard
businesses.
him say that on Watch What Happens Live. But the biggest part was that Claudia also said on her podcast that she starts it off by saying that she has facts, dates, timestamps, and receipts. And this is the receipt that she has. She said, Kyle placed an order of Spritz from their website, and she has a receipt and an address and his email.
Wanted to taste out the competitor.
Competition,
Yeah.
But and what does that prove?
That was just her.
It's just tea.
Her last point before she closed the conversation.
Wouldn't you have an intern purchase it?
That's a pseudonym of sorts.
So was it
perhaps?
actually him, or was that just a fan?
I mean, who
you know?
cares? I mean, I don't know what that proves.
Well, if
I
you're
think she was just
Team
throwing
Spritz,
it out
to
there
be clear,
as
but people often purchase their competition.
But if you're
and try it out.
yeah, I guess if you're bad mouthing them and then purchasing the product, then it's well,
yeah,
it's just a weird.
you
look.
give an opening to do what Claudia did, which is to be like, hey, he bought our product, which I guess. I don't know.
I don't think it was proving any point. It's kind of just how she wrapped up the conversation, where she was just throwing it out there.
She's being petty
And
with a
zing.
purpose.
Yeah.
Petty with a purpose.
She's being petty with a purpose. Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't. What's so fascinating about all this is that why is Kyle willing to give Craig such credibility?
What do you mean?
Well, Kyle has a company.
Yeah.
Loverboy. Great. It's great. It's fine. Never had it. I'm sure it's wonderful. I haven't seen a single ad for it or a commercial. Well,
I actually just saw it. Did they just post something for Memorial Day, or was that a really old ad that I saw of him and Amanda going to Walmart and buying out all of the Loverboys? And I was just
I've only seen it in the Bravo sphere of audience members, fan bases.
But why aren't they making funny
ads
or whatever? They could do so much. I don't understand.
Kyle is DJing.
Also, they have
why not do the whole Ryan Reynolds? I mean, even if it was a poor man's version of what Ryan Reynolds did for
Mint.
Aviation Gin or his cell phone company, or
it's not in the budget.
What's the budget? You just get to think of some ideas, try and fail. I mean, anyway. But what I mean by that is, here's Craig. He is dating Paige. Okay, Craig is. I don't know what Craig does. He's on Southern Charm. It sounds like
down south.
Sure, he's got stuff going on.
Yeah,
that's not to. I don't.
He's a pillow king.
He's got stuff going, right? So he was on Summerhouse one episode.
He went to the 1 weekend, I think.
Was there for 1 weekend, one episode.
Oh, this
nice
season.
little
this
cameo
season,
this season.
Yeah.
Why is it such news that Craig wanted to invest and not invest? It gives Craig so much credibility. It's just why does Kyle care? Why is Craig not investing or investing just because he's dating someone?
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? It's just why does that matter so much? Why is Kyle so demanding of Craig's loyalty to not invest in an alcohol company of any kind? Are they even that good of friends? And even if they are friends, it's what? If you know Kyle, you can't somehow be involved in a spirit company?
I think I've solved it, and this is an outside perspective, but I said this before that I think Kyle has lost his passion for the company, and so he's misplacing anger on everybody else that isn't equally as passionate about it. It's Amanda or Craig that are in his circle in some way or the other that aren't.
Yeah, maybe so.
But I do think, and I hate that I'm defending Kyle because I am not a fan of his actions that I've seen on the show. I don't like how he talks to or treats Amanda, and so I don't. But I would just say that I do think that on this Watch What Happens Live, it was a little bit pulled out of him for Mandy. I don't think he was coming so hot. But at the same time, it was one of those where it was like, I want to be the bigger person, but also Craig's a liar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He
said what he
called
said.
Craig a liar on Watch What Happens Live. That is not a person who doesn't care about Craig's moves when it comes to like the industry he's working in. And I'm just like the way he talked about Kyle in that moment made it seem like Craig is some sort of like massive venture capitalist that like, boy, if, like the difference between him investing and being a part of LoverBoy and him being a part of Ben's company is like the difference between them making it or not making it. And it's just like, why?
Well, when Ben was here, I was talking to him about Paige and Claudia, and he did tell me that Craig was an investor in Spritz, and he told me that Craig's going to be bringing it on the show. So I wonder
Right, I was
if
curious about
that's
that.
maybe where Kyle has like a little
on
animosity.
Southern Charm.
On Southern Charm, yeah. Instead of drinking Loverboys on Southern Charm, he's going to be drinking
Yeah.
Spritz Society.
Less publicity. Yeah.
Again,
Fine, but
it's
again,
entitled.
it's a different show. It's like Kyle, you're not on Southern Charm.
Right.
Like
You're not
what-
going to pay Craig to drink it on Southern Charm.
Is Kyle the only Bravo celebrity that is involved in any type of spirit company? Like, what is he expecting a monopoly on all things Bravo? And again, is that your big business plan? You get, yeah. I mean, I get why you started the company and say you got the Bravo Connect, but like the difference between you making it and not making it is going to be what do you bring to the company outside of what you can get for free on Bravo? I mean, free is a relative term, but if your big plan is that everyone who's in Bravo drinks Loverboy and supports Loverboy and doesn't compete with Loverboy, then that's
well,
a bad plan.
I have heard that on Summerhouse, this is alleged because I don't know it for a fact, but that Kyle has made it so that the only drinks that can be featured on the show is Loverboy. So you'll notice at their parties and stuff, you won't see somebody holding a White Claw or...
Although they did zoom in on a bubbly at one point in this episode, and I was just like,
Hell yeah,
huh,
bubbly.
bubbly.
Show.
Get that
like,
sponsor.
right front and center.
No longer.
And well, but good for Kyle for negotiating that on the Summerhouse.
Yeah.
Fine.
But
But
it doesn't transfer.
I think one of the lies that Kyle was accusing Craig of telling was that Craig said something about how, I thought this was just hard teas. And he was like, well, you know that we have Spritz and I think espresso martini or something. And that like he told him that before.
Again, Craig didn't make the drink line. He just invested
Yeah,
in
and
it.
he was like, they're kind of copying us.
Kyle said that?
Yeah, like that Spritz Society.
Well, I again, I don't know much about the spirit industry, but it's not revolutionary.
I think you solved it in the sense of like the Bravo sphere has been dominated by Loverboy. So like Craig investing introduces another competitor. So then he
Sure.
loses control over like the domination, essentially, the free marketing.
The domination.
Yeah.
But it's like that you only see when you watch the show. And that's what
Exactly.
I'm saying. It's just like, back to the Ryan Reynolds example, like I've never had aviation gin. But you know what? But like when people say gin now, for the past 2 years, people say aviation gin because the only thing he marketed it. It's just like he took a gin company that had a story and he gave it a new story and he just made it recognizable. And now when you go to the grocery store or to the bar, you'd be like, hey, I want a gin gimlet or whatever for the people who drink gin. They're going to be like, give me aviation because that's the first thing that comes to mind because like for all the drinkers out there, who aren't like big connoisseurs, or you got your sommeliers who, might sip the tequila or might sip the wine, but for the most part, people are just getting fucking drunk, and they're just going to go with what they recognize. They're going to go with what, it's all about name recognition. So why doesn't Kyle focus more on that, and make it cool to drink, make it like for all the men who respect their wives, for all the girls, like why
that Loverboy.
like Natalie said last week, for all the it's like now it's like ew. I'm gonna rep the brand where it's a guy who like tells his wife to fuck off and calls her a fucking bitch,
Right.
at 3 a.m. Loverboy, when you're really pissed off at your wife,
Yeah.
like
And now you have Carl joining the team, who's also not looking great.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the only thing I know about the spirit industry, it's all about brand recognition and what does your brand know for and the marketing that goes. It's like how many beer commercials do you see them talking about the beer? It's about what the beer represents or the vibe or, it's all vibes.
I'd say the best thing about Loverboy is how beautiful the cans are.
Oh, who loves
Never seen the cans.
Amanda's cans?
Jesse Solomon.
Jesse Solomon.
What would Jesse Solomon do?
That was so cute. Yeah.
Who, by the way, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just say
Cancer-free.
something though? I feel like it's
Doesn't have cancer.
right. Yes. I feel like it's a little bit strange that they left last episode on a cliffhanger of whether or not Jesse Solomon had cancer.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
You know what I mean? I just thought that was a little bit like, this
It's like,
is
hey,
a reality
don't
show.
tell the world
that he's
that
okay.
you're cancer-free.
I'm like sitting here, I'm like, is he okay?
Yeah.
I texted Sierra, I'm like, do you know if Jesse Solomon has cancer? Because like, I
It
can't
would've
wait
been
another
kinda
week to find
fucked
out.
if this week he came back and they're like, yeah, sorry, it's back.
I also
Right?
love that I'm
That
the reality
seemed-
TV
I
girly,
know.
but she like texted me like I have the inside intel. I was like, actually,
like,
he just texted me. He's good.
I was banking on the fact that he was okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping so
Like, he
because I
had
was
to
like, how
be
fucked would it
okay.
be if they
It'd be
left?
so fucked, yeah.
Either way, I was just like, are you really gonna leave the like? I get a cliffhanger. Are Carl and Lindsay gonna break up? Or those are cliffhangers I'd
Meaningless
expect.
relationships.
Yeah, like okay, whatever. But like cancer, like
No, I know.
tell me,
No, it's
Yeah.
like
they did
does
have
he
him
cancer
on
or
Watch
not?
What Happens Live after, so I kind of feel like that was supposed to be the like.
And he had to
He's
wait
fine.
to tell everyone on Instagram that he didn't have cancer until this episode aired.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
That's the
yeah.
crazy that he had to like not. Hey, are you okay? Sorry,
I can't
watch
say
next
anything
week.
yet.
Tune in next week to find out.
Like, what the fuck?
But I'm glad he's okay.
I'm so glad he's okay
The
because
plight of
that
a
would have
reality
been
TV
really
star.
fucked up
Yeah.
if not. Anyway, where were we?
Still Team Lindsay, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another choice, to be honest. It's just so crazy how from the beginning it was very Team Carl, and then seeing his behavior these last few episodes, I'm just like, there's nothing redeemable about your behavior whatsoever.
But what's really crazy, well, you saw it in the preview
Mm-hmm.
of the fight, is that they're leaning in, and which is also bizarre because it is what again, when Lindsay came here on the show, and you guys should go back and listen to it. We'll
Repost.
we'll repost it, but it is available. Go back and check out the Lindsay. If you haven't listened to the Lindsay Hubbard episode and you're watching Summerhouse, incomplete. You have like
it's
you're
the first episode.
you're
It's
missing-
basically the first episode.
you're missing so much of the story by not listening.
I'm curious to see how the reunion will work too, because that was shot after our episode, and she like tried to build this whole narrative that everybody was aware of on the cast.
Well, that's the thing, is like she's leaning into the blindsidedness
Yeah.
of it. I'm just really curious what Lindsay thinks about that move now.
Yeah. Like watching it back in real time, being like she was there, like
Well, just like forgetting about the TV element. I'm just like have you guys ever been? Well, you haven't really been broken up with, have you?
No.
Yeah, you're not.
Well, I've just been with one person
Yeah.
for my whole life, but
But like, if you know what it's like to be broken up with, I'm really, again, more and more like I'm just trying to actually put myself in Lindsay's shoes, and not as a TV star or a person on reality TV, but just as a human being in a serious relationship
Mhm.
on the heels of a wedding, being engaged. It's like, obviously, I think we can all watch back with a critical lens and have our commentary on Carl and Lindsay's relationship and how incompatible they seem and unhealthy the relationship looks. And I think that these are all seemingly facts about this relationship. But like when you're in it, when you're in the relationship, especially leading up to a wedding, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. It's hard to see what everyone else sees, and despite your relationship being unhealthy and not compatible and the best decision for everyone being maybe to call off the wedding, that's really hard to expect people in relationship to maybe see that.
Mhm.
And so we're all harping on Lindsay for like, how can you say you didn't see it coming? Kyle, before the season aired, was like, Lindsay's going to look like an idiot for all this commentary about being blindsided by Carl. And at face value, I see what everyone else is saying. But on the human side, in real time, I can see why Lindsay felt blindsided. Lindsay's a smart enough person to know that she wasn't blindsided, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm curious. That's what I'd want to ask her, like objectively, but how you feel and how things are, even though people like to not say, but like just because you feel something doesn't mean it's a reality, And so yeah, your feelings are valid, but it doesn't change reality, And so I can see why Lindsay felt blindsided, and
Right.
that's the narrative that she went with. This is all to say that even the show. It seems like the show, at least in the previews, is taking Carl's side. And Lindsay almost kind of helped Carl by playing into this I was blindsided, knowing that like we're watching it back, being like, how could you feel blindsided? You guys argued all season. But you know what am I making sense that like on the
Yeah.
human side, how it's I think it's very easy for anyone to say, how can you feel blindsided? Like, how can anyone in an engagement who got broken up with not feel blindsided,
Mhm.
right? You could make that argument that if you're in a relationship and is no matter how unhealthy it seems, that if you are months away from a wedding and you're planning a wedding,
Yeah.
that if you get broken up with, even if it's the absolute best choice for everyone, that there's no way you're not going to feel blindsided, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's short of you being the Jesse of this, like, I definitely, my wife's going to break up. You know, if you're just like, yeah, no, we have a broken relationship, Carl and Lindsay never really talk about breaking up. Maybe there's a couple jabs of like, why are, like, you know, there's a couple jabs thrown in there about like,
Are you sure you want to marry me?
yeah, sure, you don't want to marry, you want to marry me and stuff like that. But there's never been like should we be doing this? Are we right for each other? We never see that commentary.
This is like the
Right.
final straw of this episode, though, because it's like now you have Paige chiming in being like, I don't think that they should be getting married.
Yeah,
You
but
have
that's
Jesse
Paige
Solomon
behind their
lyrics.
back.
Well,
That's-
Jesse Solomon wrote a song, and in his song, he said, "Will they last?"
Well, and even Lindsay, like she's like, you want a Stepford wife. That's not me. Like you can tell she's no longer like entertaining it, because even when he's like, I want you to say awesome, let's have a party, she just repeats verbatim what he said in a
Mhm.
petty way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think she's given up. So I think like,
Sure, but
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is they're never we've still have never seen Lindsay and Carl sit down and have that, you know,
Should we be doing
should we be
this?
doing this conversation where you're putting your cards on the table, you're not trying to win a fight, you're not trying, you know,
Well, it's
They
because
have
right
an
now
issue communicating.
Yeah.
Like every time they try to have a conversation or it gets to a serious place, one of them walks away, and you know, it's just like it's infuriating to watch. It's like, are they ever going to get there? Because every time they inch toward a productive conversation, somebody yells or throws a jab or gets up and walks away, or
yeah. But they do the thing that a lot of couples do in very committed, serious relationship is like they're not you know, at least one person, Lindsay, is not even thinking about the idea of breaking up. It's just like we're engaged, and if we're engaged, that means we're gonna get married.
yeah.
You know, and so we're gonna muscle through these problems.
But that's what's so strange to me too, is like that you guys would have a fight and then be like, nope, we can't even talk about it, that we're sleeping in opposite rooms, like and tiptoeing around each other, but you guys are gonna walk down the aisle. Like
That's
that's
strange too, but you get what I'm saying, that like if you
Totally.
put yourself in their shoes, it's very easy to pick apart the decisions we make in relationships, especially when you know, when it's an engagement or you're living with that person or you're married to that person, or you have kids with that person. And yes, it's so easy to criticize people's choices in relationships. Ariana living in the same house as Tom, and
Right.
but when you're in these situations, I do think it's a lot more nuanced and more complicated. And for Lindsay and Carl's, I mean, I've been that person where you just like ignore reality and you're just like, no, we're going to be together, you know? And so the idea of breaking up, you don't even comprehend. So it does feel like a blindside when Carl on camera breaks up with her, when they never actually sat down and talked about whether they should be together. It doesn't matter that Jesse is making a song or Paige is like, I don't think that's all commentary about them
Mhm.
behind their backs. You know, that's, you know, but as a couple, you know,
Yeah.
Lindsay, I'm guessing feels blindsided because mentally she never went there,
true.
It's
you
like,
know,
we're gonna work through it.
and we just thought we're going to work through it. And so it's just kind of fascinating that the show seemingly, and Carl and the cast is kind of, the big narrative is how crazy Lindsay sounds by acting blindsided when it's clear she shouldn't have been blindsided. But I'm kind of totally understanding where Lindsay is coming from.
It's almost kind of like she's taking the red flags and almost like banking them as normal. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's just like,
Discounting.
yeah, like where it's like, oh, this is just something we do in our relationship. So therefore, I'm not going to see it as a red flag. It's something that we can work through, where hindsight, or as you said, seeing from an outside perspective, you're like, this is obviously not a healthy relationship. But when you're in it, you're like, okay, well, this is how we fight. We'll get over this soon, and then we'll talk about it in a couple of days, or maybe we'll never talk about it, but that's now considered normal.
Right,
Or-
because his most serious conversations are not happening with Lindsay. They're happening with other people
it.
like Kyle or his parents. And so he's having all these conversations about how like Lindsay this, Lindsay that, she doesn't make me happy. She doesn't, you know,
Yeah.
support me, blah, blah, blah. But he's not saying them to Lindsay. And so then
It almost goes back to your original point about talking about your relationship with other people, and instead of talking and working through it with each other, and it's a recipe for disaster, because
Yeah.
all of your conflict is being aired out with other people who are saying, be done, get out. And instead of working through it with your partner, it's like you've already kind of made this decision on one side by yourself, and she has no idea that you feel this way.
Yeah, I can almost see a world where like mentally, like that Carl almost feels like he's having these conversations we're saying he's never having with Lindsay, that it almost feels like he is having it with Lindsay from his perspective because he's having it with everyone else.
It's like, I could have sworn I said this
Like,
before.
But no, but seriously, I'm not even trying to like be snarky,
Yeah.
where it's just like mentally, you know, it's like the fascination I have with Bravo in general is like when, you know, and we will talk with Danny and Nia later, but just like how Danny and Nia, like they just got into this, right? This whole reality TV space. And when we talk about like Tom Sandoval and the Vanderpump, this is like a decade of their lives have been intertwined with reality TV and like just their normal life.
Yeah.
You know, Summerhouse, they've been doing this for a while now.
8 years.
You know, and it's the more I talk about it, the more I see Lindsay's side. But what's ironic about it is that I simultaneously see Carl's side in the sense that the thing that Lindsay is upset about, or what she is frustrated about Carl not doing, she never could have expected him to do because there's been no signs in the relationship of him ever doing it, at least from what we've seen.
Yeah.
You know, and so even though she can be, I see where Lindsay's frustrated for feeling blindsided. The only right answer is to her appreciate that the relationship is in fact over, because it's like, yeah, well, you wanted him to do the thing you're most frustrated about, Lindsay, is the thing that time and time again, Carl never did for you or never did for the relationship. So the thing that you're most frustrated with him about the breakup is the thing that he was never going to do in the first place.
Right.
And therefore you kind of need to almost be thankful that he did it. It's kind of a weird, fucked up thing.
What were your thoughts on the softness conversation? Because I know that
I have to hear, I mean, I was triggered for Lindsay to tell anyone to be a different person is infuriating.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it would be like for women to have a guy constantly tell you to be soft. Obviously, there's like layers of misogyny when it comes to stuff like that. And not just because you tell your partner to be nicer doesn't mean it's misogynistic. But, you know, obviously there are times where you might be like, hey, can you stop being so fucking mean to me? And maybe soft is a way of him describing it. But the way it is aired and the way it is shown, it's just like he just doesn't want any feedback from Lindsay whatsoever. And I loved Lindsay's line where it's just like, if you want me to not speak up on these topics, then you better make a lot of fucking money, which is like, it's like Carl is putting Lindsay, he's setting up Lindsay to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Because of how poor of a decision maker he is when it comes to his professional career.
Right.
It's like he is so incapable of making like sound decisions when it comes to his career, and therefore Lindsay, who has some success, who is very career driven, who's on top of things, who like seems to be better at making decisions for herself when it comes to her own career. It's like he's setting her up to sound like a nagging bitch all the time because like he's coming to her with these not good ideas.
Yeah.
You know,
these are just important conversations. Like anytime Danny or I make a career move, we talk about it together. Like in detail.
As a
it's
team.
like, how much money do we need? How much, like, what's the time off policy? Like, every single thing. It's like, is this going to work for you
us.
And for us? Like,
for us.
but also, like, I have your back and I love
yeah.
you and I want you to be in a good situation and I don't want you to get into something that's, like, not going to be good. So, like, we're each other's person. So it's like, of course you're going to talk to each other about these big life things. And it's like, he doesn't want her opinion at all. He just wants her to sit there and say yes.
Imagine if Danny had a job. Your husband, Danny, who we're talking about, not Danny, our guest coming up. He had a job, left that job because he didn't get along with the person, or there was drama. Let's just call it, right? He was part of LoverBoy, Carl. There was some kind of drama. He left that job because of some kind of drama or disagreement. And then Danny came to you and was just like, no, I want... So here I have an idea.
It's going to be better this time.
It's going to be better this time. And Danny, your husband, only wanted from you was your unconditional support without any questions, because those questions he would perceive as interrogation or doubt in his idea.
That would drive me crazy.
Maybe your idea sucks if you can't answer some baseline basic questions.
You're just being so defensive.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you don't want my opinion.
No. He didn't want,
but like, it's
because
so
he doesn't
important.
want to listen. And I empathize with Carl. Listen, sometimes you want things to work so bad, you don't ask the right questions. You know, clearly, it's not fun having your lack of entrepreneurship being displayed on national television. I'm sure Carl is sensitive about that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you get to go to your then fiance and make her out to be some ball-busting nag.
Right, because this is going to affect her life too.
Yeah,
like,
it's not a small
it's not just
thing.
his decision. Like, if they're getting married, it's like, okay, it's one thing if you're like friends and you're asking their opinion, right? And you don't really want to hear it. But this is like a partnership. They're getting married. His job is going to affect her. The way that he comes home is going to affect her. The money that he brings in is going to affect her. Everything about your job affects your partner.
Yeah, and they don't really talk about it, but it seems like Amanda and Kyle and Carl and Lindsay, and maybe they have talked about it and I just missed it, but it seems like, I know there's a lot of discourse going on about like families and Harrison Buckner and all of that stuff, but it seems like they kind of wanted a more traditional plan where someday Amanda would have the kids, and Amanda would be generally the caretaker of the kids, and Carl would generally be the
Kyle. Yeah.
Carl and Lindsay. Well,
you're talking about Carl and
Kyle
Lindsay?
and Amanda. Well, both Carl and Kyle would be generally the
Traditional.
the breadwinners of the family, and it seemed like Amanda and Lindsay, despite and Lindsay's very career driven, but even Lindsay seems to have given hints of like someday she wants to be more
relaxed.
relaxed and like I want does that track?
Well, she said a few episodes ago that she wants to be able to take some time off of work to
Raise kids,
be with her kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess my point of saying this is like, if that is something that you two as a couple have decided, that puts even more pressure. If the decision was like, yeah, someday, babe, if we have kids for whatever time we need, I'm gonna take a step back from my career, and you will be the major breadwinner. That's the general plan. Well, that puts more pressure on both of them for that whoever is the breadwinner to make bread.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if that was kind of the catalyst of the downfall, in the sense that Carl acted blindsided when Lindsay suggested that she would want some time off and whatnot. And I wonder if in his head he thought we are going to be this dual income, I wasn't planning on being the lead breadwinner since you already are kind of situation. So I wonder if that also sent him in a panic, being like, wait, not only do I need to get a job or a career now, but like I need to make enough money to be able to support you. And it doesn't sound like that was a part of his plan. Does that make sense?
For sure, yeah.
It just goes back to their communication. It doesn't sound like they've had these important conversations.
I will say too, I've clocked this, but he smiles almost every time he's arguing with Lindsay. Like he'll bring up topics but be like smiling. So like, I don't know, there's like a vindictive nature of like he enjoys the argument more than like the communication.
Yeah.
It's a little thing.
I mean, some people have that.
Some people kind of awkwardly laugh when they're uncomfortable.
Or dealing with confrontation.
Yeah, but it's on camera.
Yeah. But if every confrontation is uncomfortable, then it's like, do a different way of communication. I don't know. Maybe that's my
I don't
take.
think Carl's the best communicator for sure. But he did get, I mean, that side of Carl that Lindsay kept referencing, we saw last episode.
Yeah.
There seemed to be some editing there when they showed Carl yelling at Lindsay.
At the end of their
it was kind
episode.
But it was clearly that there was some editing.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, but it was almost edited to me seem more out of nowhere than it was.
The fight?
It was at the very end of their fight.
Very end.
I forget what he said. It was like...
But he raised his voice.
Yeah.
But it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a fucking lot.
I don't know, though, because he said the same thing twice. He said, it's a lot, and then he yelled, it's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That last part where it was like, why would you...
To me, it seemed like it was like he said it further apart and they just like snipped it together.
Yeah.
Like they like closed the cold air of it and then just put it.
Maybe it was just that.
Well, I did see a post of people comparing Ariana to Lindsay. And they were saying these are the Bravo blondes that experience like poor relationships and are now trying to redefine what a healthy relationship is for the public, which I thought was interesting. Lindsay and Ariana. It's like Ariana with Sandoval being blindsided, and then Lindsay being blindsided with Carl, and how we watched like those unfold.
And why do they get
like? Just people are just comparing that like these are the Bravo blondes that are experiencing something similar on reality TV, and a lot of people are rallying with them. So basically, they're becoming this new definition of what
like how to handle this scandal,
demanding respect, like
yeah.
that with like demanding what you should deserve as a woman in a relationship, which I thought was fascinating.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, I guess I can get there with empathizing with Lindsay, like we just talked about.
Lindsay's very much like enforcing, like this is what I want. This is what I want for my relationship. This is what I expect from my partner. And instead of being like docile or being like, well, maybe we'll work on it. Like she's being like, no, like I want these things in place before we get married, or like knowing what you want. And in the same sense, I'm like Ariana, a little bit different, but is like hey, no, post breakup, like this is what I will and won't do, and I'm not going to compromise for that for a show or for anybody else. So I think it's almost like demanding what they both want in the same circumstance, but also kind of differently. Does that make sense?
I guess, but I kind of feel like they're like for Ariana, for example, like you see Ariana very like it seems like Ariana has really thought about boundaries and what she wants for herself and maybe mistakes she's made while dating Sandoval because you know there is that she did date him for 10 years and it's like how do you go from thinking this guy was your life partner to where she is now, and you do that bit by kind of really thinking about all the decisions you made while with that person, but that requires that, you know, Ariana, for example, to be like, yeah, like I realized that when I was with that person, I wasn't seeing things clearly and I was making poor choices. I wasn't enforcing my boundaries at the time. Same thing with like Lindsay, we can empathize with why she had the mindset that she had at the time, but there still needs to be a recognition now that this relationship is over, that they weren't right for each other, you know.
Agreed,
that there is like, you know, there's no point at this point of Lindsay still arguing I felt blindsided. Like I hope Lindsay's not going around and still like arguing that point. You know, I'm hoping now that they've been broken up for so long that there's been some reflection and more about like, yeah, I want to date someone who doesn't make me feel the way Carl made me feel when I was simply just asking some basic questions. I actually want to have a partner that can communicate with me, you know, and not his parents or his friends. I want to have a partner where I won't be the last person to hear about their frustrations with me. You know what I'm saying? And like focus on that and be more aware about like, hey, I also want to recognize that I want to have a relationship where we have problems that we address them and don't push them under the, you know, the rug. And I made those mistakes, you know, when you're younger and you have a plan for yourself and your plan is to like get married and have kids or whatever by a certain age or yada, yada. We all do this, right? And we stay in relationships longer than we should, or we stay in relationships because we've been together for so long, not because of how it is now, but because of how it was when it first started. So we've all made these mistakes, but it's just like, I hope for Lindsay that she is looking at those things now. And this is less about, to me, this is less about like, I don't know, empowerment and more about, you know, just learning from past mistakes of your relationship.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, I think it's an oversimplification.
For sure.
To compare Lindsay and Ariana and just because they're blonde women.
Blonde on Bravo.
Yeah, I think that their situations are very different and their relationships were very different and that they're handling things very different. But I do think that they're both doing a good job, you know, setting boundaries and learning from past relationships of how they want to be treated in future relationships.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Anyways, is next week the big breakup?
I feel like it is because it's the finale, right? And then they have their
the 3-part reunion. So we finally get to see the breakup.
I'm so excited.
Which we'll talk about next week, Tuesday. On Reality Recap.
Didn't they pick up cameras and like film again? So I wonder if this is that episode, if there's going to be another bonus one.
No, I think this is technically the bonus episode because I feel like at the beginning of this episode, they were like last weekend of the summer. So I'm like, I feel like this next one is them picking it up like they did with Scandival.
Right. Because could you imagine if that was the end of the episode? That was just it. It's like, all right, it's over.
They always it's always interesting to see with these shows, like what was meant to be the last episode. Yeah. You know, because it would have made sense. You know, Jesse doesn't have cancer. You know, there was a lot of things that they were tying up in the west of it all. But anyways, excited to see the fight. Zoa, you gotta check out Zoa, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's energy drink. Zoa just launched a brand new campaign. It's all about the BDE, Big Dwayne Energy. They've got a really awesome new commercial that you can check out at Zoa's Instagram or YouTube channels. Zoa Energy is the better for you energy drink with great taste, electrolytes, B and C vitamins, and 0 sugar. It's made with caffeine from natural sources to provide balanced energy with 0 crash. When you drink Zoa Energy drinks, it gives you the Big Dwayne Energy, which gives you the swag, confidence, and energy to help you conquer your day. Here at the Viall Files, my team has loved Zoa to give them the extra boost to get through their days with ingredients that enhance energy levels. Zoa Energy helps my team find the spark and motivation. They've got 8 incredible flavors like tropical punch, wild orange, white peach, now frosted grape. My team loves frosted grape and cherry limeade. They are delicious. So get some Big Dwayne Energy and order Zoa Energy today. Available online or at stores near you. Find out where you can find it at zoaenergy.com and find retailers like Amazon, 7-Eleven, Costco, Circle K, and more. If you love money and you love shopping, you got to check out Ibotta. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. Spring has sprung, and that means spring cleaning, whether that means stocking up on cleaning supplies or swapping out your winter clothes for new spring clothes. Make sure you're using Ibotta to get real cash back with every purchase.
The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, or the fancy dinner you've been craving.
Other apps give you the points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, just add your offers in the app, upload your receipts, and get real cash that you can cash out to your bank accounts, PayPal, or gift cards.
Join the over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop from over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more.
It's an absolute no-brainer. So again, if you love to shop and earn cash back, you gotta check out Ibotta. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code VIALL. When you register, just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code VIALL. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store and use code VIALL. Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Real Housewives of New Jersey.
I feel like the season's just kind of warming up, you know? Like, it is a lot. There is a lot of housewives.
I'm watching it for the first time this season, so it's like a lot to figure out who's who and what the history is.
I'm most fascinated with the men on the show.
They're
They
a
are
much
key
bigger
players.
part of the show
Yeah.
than like any other Housewives franchise, I feel.
What would have to happen for you to get married, get divorced, your partner remarry, and for you and that partner to like say I love you to each other?
What would have to happen for you to
What is Teresa's husband's name?
Louis.
Louis.
Yeah.
Louis. I forget, was it last episode or the episode before? I think it was the episode before. But Teresa's ex-husband, Joe?
Yes.
Joe? They were like FaceTiming and Louis like, love you, man.
Oh,
So that's the
okay.
thing that we've been saying where like New Jersey is known to have a very family oriented like
They're
vibe. So
Italian.
even like
Sure.
Yeah.
even like Dolores' ex Frank, like he has a role in the show, and like Joe Giudice is like connected to Louis, which is supposed to be like a healthy relationship. And even like Margaret's talking about her ex-husband, and all of them are in current relationships with like their own kids or whatnot. But like everybody's like a play out there.
Yeah.
So like,
But
I don't think it was weird for Joe to be like, or sorry,
I don't think it was. How long have they been married, Joe, Louis and Teresa?
like for a year, maybe
Yeah.
two.
So
but
not
like,
that long. That's right.
but like Louis is known to be a very like advocate and like healthy boundaries person. And like he kind of came in the show saying that I respect that you have like your kids with your husband that still wants a role in their life.
Totally get the,
Yeah.
respect of, hey, you have kids. But
For
he
how
was like, I love you, man. Like,
Yeah.
for how dysfunctional their like friendships are, it is
For
really
sure.
interesting that the family dynamics are like very outside of Teresa and Melissa are very like interconnected. They're like, no, we are one big family. Everybody's husbands hangs out with everybody's husbands, knows each other's aunts, and like it's just I don't know, it's really cute.
I feel like
yeah, I kind of love that.
I feel like Tom Sandoval wants to get married just so that he can get divorced and then tell his ex-wife's new husband, "I love you."
He probably would.
Like I
Yeah.
think Tom Sandoval would
He wants to have
convince
this
himself that
relationship.
I could be friends with my like Tom
He
would
tried.
I don't
Yeah,
think
Tom
Dan's
would love to-
interested.
Tom would love to be friends with Dan, and Tom would love to be like, "No, man, I'm totally like it's totally chill, it's totally cool."
Talk to me about her if you're having any problems. I can give you some
and like,
advice.
and that would be his like, that would be how Tom. That's fascinating, but I'm being serious. Like that's how Tom would show loyalty and friendship.
Maybe it's like an
Because how
Italian.
he can be chill with.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers me. I'm a cool guy.
Yeah.
Because I also think of Dolores, because Dolores' ex, Frank, she has kids with. Frank has a new girlfriend, and that's why it's a big deal that he's like, I want to propose to her, but he's asking for like, approval from Dolores with her now husband, who also isn't divorced officially.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's a lot of like back and forth of like, but people are okay with it because there's communication.
Well, and I also kind of like that Dolores's significant other, he's not Italian, he's Irish, and he's very much like, why is he always calling? Why is he always around? He's like the only person that just like doesn't get the dynamic. And everyone else is like, no, this is normal. This is Jersey.
This is
This
how
is
we do it.
Italian.
Because that was the thing last season as
Their
well.
Sunday lunches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing last season that like Frank and Paul, like there was a conversation of like how close can you be with your ex-husband? Because Dolores wanted Frank in her life, or at least in the sense of like she wanted to raise the kids still with him. and they still hung out a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I think
Paul was
having
introduced.
kids
I mean,
in
if
the
you have
picture,
kids and you're
Yeah.
forced to hang out, I think there's a huge difference between being civil and respectful
Mm-hmm.
versus like getting on a FaceTime and like Louis like smiled and like and said it with the utmost sincerity of like, man, I just love you. Like really just like I was thrown.
He
I
also-
enjoyed that.
It
I thought
wasn't
was
it
cute.
wasn't like
cute.
just, hey man, good to see you. You know, hi.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
it was
you're
an
in the
emotional
background being
moment.
like, hey man, just good to
Yeah.
see you. You know, checking in with your fam, and like, you know, and like being chill.
Yeah, well, because it was an emotional moment. Like they were all crying.
He's like, thanks
You
for taking
know,
care
she
of my
was-
family.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and
sweet.
Louis paying for college too, which is fascinating.
And Joe
Wait,
can't be here.
Really?
What is
Mhm.
what they
Louis and
It-
Teresa are paying for what's her name, not Gia.
Uh,
For Louis.
Gabriella.
also is this?
yeah.
I know
Mhm.
Teresa went to
The one
jail
that just
for
went?
some
Yeah.
tax stuff, but maybe that. But like, I'm under the impression that suburban real estate, New Jersey, is some of the most expensive real estate in the world,
Especially on the shore, yeah.
and they have some gorgeous
Oh,
houses on
Melissa's
these
house
shows.
now.
If you saw Teresa's house like pre-jail, that was a mansion with like
How but is
Victorian
this-
furniture.
is this housewife money or is this like not paying your taxes money?
Well, a lot of them
or-
have businesses and then they come to the show as like a family connection. It's like a lot of them know each other just like familiar, but they're all just, I think, wealthier.
Well, it's also
But,
there
what are
was
they- but that-
embezzlement.
Well, yeah, she
they-
was caught for, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's different. But
But Louis, like they're displaying some real money.
yes.
This is why rumors of the mafia start. It's like, nope, just fell off the back of the truck. Here's a new house. But I mean, I don't know what Louis does for a
And are
living.
they
But
all
also, like,
living
I mean, Teresa's been
together?
a housewife for a decade,
Yeah.
and so they're like,
I
it's
mean,
not shocking that she's.
I'm sure she's making a lot of money from the show as well.
But it when I see that display of wealth, it does make me curious of where it comes from.
Mhm.
Well, and that's where you have Jen Shaw running from the FBI.
And I was like, Joe
So-
Giudice does construction, right? And builds houses for a living. So like that's not so crazy. But yeah, I don't know where a lot of their money comes from.
And they're all living together now, right? Like Louis, his kids,
Yes.
Yeah.
and Teresa and
They're
her
a blended
kids.
family now, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Melissa and Teresa drama, my understanding, and because I just got into it, but it's kind of all Teresa's fault.
Yeah, that's how I take it. Like a lot of
Same.
there's a big Teresa fan base, but if you look at the timelines, a lot of the egging on comes from Teresa's side of like rumors, and she didn't like go to Melissa's room when she gave birth to her child.
But it's because it seemed like Teresa seemed to have an issue with Melissa dating her brother, and it
Yeah.
seemed to all start there.
Yeah.
Which and then Teresa kept saying things.
Trying to get Joe to leave Melissa with cheating rumors and whatnot, and then claiming that Melissa's trying to break up their family, that the parents, their past.
So it's like, where's Melissa supposed to take the high road here?
She's tried so many times, so that's why I'm Team Melissa
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm.
I mean,
I
one of
bring
the-
it up because if you are Team Teresa, I'm just curious as to like, well, and on this episode when they were playing softball, Louis, how did it come up? And Louis was like, yeah, we don't. He was talking about Joe.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
He's like, yeah, I don't. He basically was like, I don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. What is Louis' side of the story?
I will say Melissa last season did call Louis a bitch boy, and that was like the biggest thing. Is like
Okay.
she
So
was
I get
saying-
why maybe.
So that's kind of like the main, more recent reason why Melissa is like bad in Teresa's eyes.
Yeah, but
But this
Teresa's
also-
accused
but-
her of like
But that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
If you have a
Agreed.
decade of starting rumors and trying to like literally affect her entire core of her family and
Uh-huh.
never feeling accepted by your sister-in-law who plays the role of like a matriarch in the family, and then you have the whole housewife element and she's like an OG housewife and she has a lot of this power and influence, and then all she does is disparage you and your relationship so much so that it affects her relationship with her own brother. Well, at some point you're going to fight back.
Yeah.
It's almost like Teresa can't help herself either, though. Like Teresa makes these comments where it's just like, you know that that's not going to play out well, but yet she says it anyways. She did this episode about Margaret saying about coming to the dog party, and she was like, well, is her husband going to bring Margaret or her actual dog or his actual dog? And it was just like, why was that necessary? And those are the type of jabs and things that get repeated that Teresa says, but it's just like so in her DNA to say these things. I don't know. It's just she just like fights fire with fire when there was no fire to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Right.
like, why start this for no reason?
Because there was a brief point also in like the New Jersey history where when she went to jail, like Joe Gorga and Melissa stepped in to like help be like
The
a second
kids.
family with them.
Yeah.
So like there is a sweet aspect to it where they come together every once in a while. But
So wait, Teresa goes to jail.
Yeah.
And despite all the things that Teresa said, Melissa and Joe stepped up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tried to help in literally any way.
Yep.
And now they're still feuding?
Still not good enough.
Granted, that was like years ago, but yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, agreed.
And even last season, Melissa tried to repair things as well. And then it was like Teresa making a comment about how her daughter didn't come to, how Antonia, Melissa's daughter, didn't come to her daughter Gia's birthday party, like as if Antonia's the one now that's keeping up the fight. And it was just like, it's just so unnecessary when you could be the one to be like, hey, let's put down our swords and let's just be a family. And she just will never do that. There's always another follow-up comment, another accusation. She was accused of cheating again last season as well.
Yeah.
So Melissa, yeah.
By Jennifer Aiden. Yeah.
But through Teresa.
Through Teresa, yeah.
Through Teresa. So it all stems back to Teresa.
Well, Teresa's also funny too because she likes to get other people to say things and then claim that she had no part in it,
So
but they always go back to her.
Only way this feud gets squashed, if I'm hearing this correctly and understanding it correctly, would require Teresa to say, you know what? I've been petty for many years. I've started this all, and I'm just willing to drop it. But it's gotten it's been going on for too long, and it's so many things have happened that Teresa is not recognizing where this all started. She is just, she's just like, well, you said this. Like, she's just cherry picking moments where, like, I'm sure there are moments where Melissa or Joe said some things that they would be like, they maybe shouldn't have said, or maybe it was a low blow, or maybe they were doing it just to retaliate. But like Teresa's doing the thing that so many people do, where they're just like, they act like that's, oh my God, how could you say or do that? Where they just ignore everything else leading up to it.
I will say I'm remembering this now that one of the most recent things is Teresa had her wedding with Louis, and Joe and Melissa didn't go to the wedding, which there's like drama behind that. But then on the wedding day, Joe posted a story basically saying like, spending time with our real blood or like our real family.
Sure. Which they're
still clapping,
fire for
they're
sure.
still clapping back, but it's also in response to everything Teresa does.
I was going to say the reason for that though was because Teresa originally didn't want them to come to the wedding and then didn't want them in the wedding. Then we're asking random castmates that she's known for a year or two to be in her wedding in front of Melissa. And it's just like, okay, you're doing this to be petty and then being like, but I would really like for you to come. And Melissa's like, at this point, what's the point? It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It seems to be that all of the newbies are trying to take down Teresa. That's what I've noticed. Because like Danielle, Rachel, they're aligning themselves with like Melissa's perspective.
Right.
At the sense of like Teresa doesn't really get challenged.
Well, that's my question with this show. And like, it's a kind of a parallel to Vanderpump in a way, because it's like everybody was making such a stink about Ariana not filming with Tom. But then you have Melissa and Teresa who won't film with each other, and they get so upset with Jen Fessler for talking to Teresa. So like how does this work?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel bad for Jen Fessler.
Like, she's put in a tough spot now too, because she's like, I like Teresa.
When someone's nice to me, I'm nice to them.
Yeah. But like, she's not allowed to even like have a conversation. Nobody even knows what the conversation was about. They were like off in a corner.
Yeah, but I'm nice to them if they're nice to me, it only works until you're 18.
Okay.
You have to pick a side sometimes. And yeah, I don't know. I'm usually of the whoever. Yeah, I hate that.
Whoever's wrong, don't take their side.
Well, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like
right.
And you could say, if you're, I don't think you should stop being friends with someone just because so and so offended someone else. But like, if your only response is, well, I don't have it in me to like be a part of drama, I don't want that person around me. Because to me, that person, I think that's a cop out for, I never want to take a stand or set a boundary. They're just going to go with whatever.
They're not going to be in your defense.
They're not going. Yeah, they'll definitely talk. If your name gets brought up in a group and they're next to them, they will participate in the shit talking about you.
Right.
For sure. Almost certainly. Or the best they will do is not say anything at all.
Yeah.
So then, are you team Rachel on that? Rachel Fuda?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting you say that that's like an 18-year-old thing, because Jen Fessler flipped it and was like, Rachel's not mature. Because Rachel's the youngest housewife ever. Or not ever.
I mean,
but like
again,
currently.
there's devils in the details for each situation. I'm not really talking about this specific situation.
Right, just the statement in general.
But just to say that is a red flag statement for me.
Yeah. I was like, loyalty is really important. And that's where I'm like, your friend can be wrong and you can say that, but at the same time being in defense of that person, where if you're in a crowd and somebody's talking about them, that you would want to believe that your friend would be like, hey,
Stop it.
not in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like, that's not true, whatever it is, versus being like, well, I don't really want to be involved, so I'm just going to kind of, I'm not picking sides. I'm Switzerland. And that to me, I'm like, rubs me the wrong way.
Anyways, it's Danny and Nia are going to be coming up here shortly. We're just waiting for them to arrive. Cute family, cute babies. They got, it's like the only couple surviving reality TV.
Truly.
I can't wait to ask them about that. I'm like, what is their plan to stay together?
With all of these examples around you, like what are you taking from that and doing differently?
Yeah. It's,
How are you surviving?
how are they?
Yeah.
But,
How are you doing it?
Yeah, we're going
No,
forward.
but for real,
you know?
they have 2 newborn twins
That's right.
and another child. But, speaking of babies, has anybody seen the Orlando
Four
baby?
Seasons
Yes,
Orlando
Four Seasons
baby?
Orlando baby.
It's called The Four Seasons. I think I've seen this.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
wait.
she's so cute.
You have to see it. It's so funny.
I'll
It's
be-
so cute.
I have a question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
How old is that child?
That child, there's no way that baby is more than,
A year?
no. Like, I don't know. How old is River?
She's 4 months.
And
Well,
how much older does that baby look than River?
It looks older.
hard for me to say because River apparently is on the smaller side these days.
I feel like
to
baby
me-
ages are hard to judge.
Baby ages are so hard to judge. I have no gauge. I feel like
Yeah, that
I have
who knows?
no
That baby
idea.
could have been.
I feel like I'm safe
That's
with
a
like
sizable baby.
I
That could
feel
have
like
been. That could have been like a 15 months.
That's what
No,
I was gonna
no,
say. I was
no.
gonna say I feel safe with saying something like 23
You're
months.
clearly
Wait,
old
we
enough
can
to
look
say
this up.
me.
we should
Me.
look this up. My guess
Who
is
are they?
this
Who is the
baby
family?
5 months
Are
old.
these family? Is this family? This is a key bit of information. Is this family in any way like influencers? Are they a
Nothing,
random
The
no.
mom
family?
does have like 80,000 on TikTok.
But is it after the video was posted or
Most likely, probably, yeah. So
No way. There's no way she got 80,000 followers just from that.
this
That video
baby
went
is
viral.
blowing
How
up.
viral?
So
She's on the
viral.
news.
ABC News just did an interview with the baby,
Okay,
and the baby
I
was
still don't
like
think she
fully
got-
talking. No, I'm kidding.
I still don't think she got 80,000 followers just from that one.
Wait,
Wait,
That's
I
all it
need
takes.
now. I really need to know how old this baby is.
she does get a lot of views. So she might have had this following. before.
Let's go back prior to the super viral. That got 60 million. She got 8 million, another 4 million. Their same baby dressed up in a tuxedo eating spaghetti.
What is that?
Well, this is all post the video.
No, it's not.
The baby
original
the baby
video,
is
no?
1 year old.
Oh, the baby's 1.
I called it.
I'm shocked.
The tuxedo spaghetti eating baby video. That
I
looks like
guess-
it was posted
Wait,
after.
well, because
They're
the
try-
original video wasn't it posted by the aunt?
Okay, yeah. So these are all after. So the spaghetti one is after at the Four Seasons.
Oh, that's the
it was
news
after.
clip.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the
What about
original
before?
video, I believe, was posted by the baby's aunt.
What about before?
It doesn't look like it's a
This is her earliest video. So her earliest
So
video
now
is
the baby is an
600,000.
influencer.
yeah.
Basically.
The baby has a
The
calling card
youngest
and an agent.
influencer in
No,
the
it's
world.
an interesting. I'm excited to talk to Danny and Nia about this of many other things. Obviously, Natalie and I have been very generous with posting of River. She's
Mhm.
very young. She looks like a little larva. We're like, everyone's just debating who she looks like. She looks like me. She looks like Natalie. She looks like my dad. It's just like we're all like, sure. But lately, Natalie and I more and more are having conversations about I think we're gonna slow it down or even stop showing River's face. As soon as she starts becoming her own person, like a human, recognizable. I don't know. It's just and I'm not here to judge people who share their kid. It's a scary world out there on the internet. People once we post a photo or video of River, it's there for anyone to do whatever they want with. And people have done stuff with it already, and nothing nefarious or I thought it was creepy, but to each their own.
Like a montage video.
No, I don't know. It's just a weird world.
I mean, this baby was memeified pretty fast. There's
yeah,
a lot of
people-
videos that are clipped about the baby and
Mhm.
they're speaking over the baby. Because this is a 1-year-old baby larva that's having a full-on conversation. basically.
but that
Yeah.
baby can talk. It's got a voice
Yeah.
now. Remember in one of the first videos that River Natalie posted of River, where she had she was 2 weeks old, and she had that and she
Yeah.
That went super viral. I don't know if it got 60 million. It got,
The attitude.
I think it got like
one.
30 million.
Yeah.
I think it got like 30 million or something.
I love that video.
Which almost made me feel a little uncomfortable. It's just like how many, I don't know. It's just a weird thing, but I hope these parents don't make their kid, this 1-year-old a influencer now, because it looks like they're kind of an influencer.
Leia was right that this is the aunt that's posting the videos.
Yeah, the aunt posted the videos. But I don't know.
Aunt.
This baby
Is it aunt or aunt?
Aunt.
Tia, to be specific.
I just copied what you said, but I have always said aunt.
Anyways, are Danny and Nia in here?
Yeah,
Let's
they're
bring them
ready.
in.
Yeah. All right, I'll go grab them and sit over there next to
Danny and Nia. Well, we are traveling. We've been traveling like crazy lately, whether it's our honeymoon or to New York or to the lake house. And thank God we have Chomps.
They're so easy to just throw in your bag. They have up to 12 grams of protein, 0 sugar, low carbs, the best flavors, and they're just so easy. They're great for traveling. They're great for on the go. They're great for just snacks at home.
Absolutely delicious. There is no bad time for Chomps. It's only good times for Chomps. Get ready to find out how good healthy snacks can taste with Chomps. Every bite is bursting with bold flavors and comes in a variety of flavors for everyone.
Chomps are simply made with natural ingredients you can feel good about. They're filled with the highest quality, sustainably sourced meat without any fillers, so you can feel good about what you're snacking on. They come in 10 delicious, bold flavors. You can get a variety pack for the whole family's taste buds, and they're even smaller chomplings for a quick snack for any kids in your life.
Right now, Chomps is offering our listeners 20% off your first order and free shipping when you go to chomps.com/VIALL. Go to chomps.com/VIALL to see all the delicious flavors and get 20% off your first order and free shipping. That's CHOMPS.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Come on in.
Hi.
How's it going?
So good. How are you guys?
Good.
Did you guys watch this video?
Uh-oh, video.
Oh boy.
The baby going to the Four Seasons? No, this isn't about, don't worry, it's not about you guys. Not yet. No, we're not putting you on blast yet. No. All right. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
What up?
Hi.
Good to have you. Danny,
Good to be here.
Danny, get that mic right.
I know.
There you go.
I'm
You're
too
you're a
far.
voice guy. You
I
should
am
know,
a voice
you should
guy.
know this.
But I also really love my wife, and I'm trying to
Well,
get
it's a
closer.
very
Hold it.
flexible.
It moves.
It's a very flexible.
Boom.
Yes, we must maintain appearances on the Viall Files.
Here we go.
Aw.
Perfect.
You look very
Did
comfortable.
you
Always
guys
be
see the
touching.
Four Seasons, baby?
Yes.
You
Didn't you repost something about it on your Insta stories? No.
did I?
I don't know. I feel like I
Did
thought
you
I
guys
saw it from you.
repost something on my Insta
The
story?
Four Seasons,
like,
baby.
uh-oh.
That was my child.
Did I post? I was like, oh,
We're
did I
like,
post?
quick, Natalie, we need to teach her to say me.
Are you saying Four Seasons, baby?
Have you seen it?
Have you not seen it?
It's the
No.
cutest thing ever.
It is cute.
I have it right here if you want to see it.
But then now it seems like immediately they've made their kid an influencer.
Great.
I have a
Yeah.
question for everybody. Who wants to go to the Four Seasons Orlando?
Little baby.
Now show them the spaghetti one.
Well, did you see
Nick
the?
loves the spaghetti
There you go.
one.
Oh my god.
Now they went to the Four Seasons in Miami and made a whole social media thing.
How
with
do you
it.
feel about making your kids influencers?
Oh gosh.
Man.
Do you guys have conversations about that?
We talk about it all the time.
We do.
Do you
Because
have any
it's like,
notes for it? Because, yeah, like River, we were explaining, just a little baby larva.
yeah,
She's a,
little cutie.
she's a little cutie, but like,
Uh-huh.
you know, she could go either way at this point,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Who knows what she's going to look like?
You know, our babies.
She's cute now, but like, who knows?
Our babies aren't influencers. They're actually professional actors.
They
and they're not
are.
even 1 year old.
Are
Yes,
they?
This
Yes,
is true. They are on.
They are Meryl Streep
What have they been on?
times 2.
They are on the full last season of Young Sheldon, and they really
Together,
do. Cry.
or are they playing
They're
one
playing
person?
one baby.
They're doing the Mary Kate
They
and Ashley
laugh on cue. They cry on cue. They're hilarious. They They are
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
River
Oh,
was
yeah.
asked to potentially be on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh,
We haven't
Was
we
she?
haven't gotten a call back.
thing.
I don't know how that worked, but they're like, yeah, it was one of those things where they would, they
Just
need,
have 'em for a
they
minute.
need newborns or something.
Yeah.
It's big. But
like-
you know, the twins thing is the kicker because they can
Switch
work
and
longer on
because
set.
of like
can
labor
work-
laws.
exactly.
You can extort your kids for longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they just worked with Harrison Ford.
I saw
this
that
past
video.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
How was Harrison?
He was awesome.
He's
he
one of
was
my
so sweet.
one of my iconic.
Me too.
Like-
They're like, hey, just so you know, is it okay if Harrison Ford kisses one of the babies on the forehead in the
Oh my
scene.
God, I'd be like, just.
And
like,
I said, can he kiss my forehead?
He did.
Can he?
what show is this for?
His show on Apple Plus called Shrinking.
Shrinking.
Yeah,
Good show.
with Jason
Yeah.
Segel.
Oh,
Jason Segel.
He was
Jason
so
Segel.
sweet.
Jason
Every
Segel.
time I was holding one of the babies, he would come up to me and the baby and start saying hi and chatting with
Yeah.
the little. I mean, she doesn't talk, but he was talking to her. It was so cute. He's like a sweet old grandpa.
It's just great when you have
you got to
like-
hang out with
like,
Harrison?
Yeah.
You know, you have a legend and they're actually kind because I've had, the opposite a few times.
Like who?
Being in this business, I won't tell.
Come on.
What? Come on,
Danny.
we're on a podcast. You
Yeah.
got to say
Lord have
something.
Give us
mercy.
one. Give
I
us
can't.
one
One.
person. You were
Come
like, you know
on.
what? They could have
Oh.
been.
If you don't say it, I'll say it.
Wow.
I know who you're thinking about.
Do you do?
Yes.
Who?
Shoot, what's the movie where you were like in the military?
Yeah.
Sniper?
Steven Seagal was not.
Oh, he's living in Russia
the
these
kind-
days. Who
I do.
cares? no one's gonna care about you talking shit about Steven Seagal.
I know, but we did a movie together called Sniper Special Ops, and it was just him and me, and
Like all
basically
the
the whole
scenes.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
The whole movie's you and
Yeah.
Steven Seagal.
Most of
Yeah.
the scenes with
How old are you,
him
Danny?
was with Daniel.
I'm 40.
So that must
It was wild.
we're the
'Cause
similar
it's
age.
like, you know what I mean? It's like seeing.
I used to
Harrison-
sneak over to my friend's house to watch Steven Seagal movies.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was not,
Exactly.
like, Hard to Kill.
Yeah.
What was it? Under Siege.
Under
obviously.
Siege. That's what I was thinking of. So
And then you got
was
then you
wild.
got to star in a movie.
Yeah.
Which-
Yeah.
And he wasn't nice to you.
Yeah. No, he's just a peculiar.
He wasn't super nice to anyone, right?
Right.
He just
right.
like he didn't even. They had two schedules. I'm telling stories that maybe
Oh
I don't know if
my
I should.
gosh.
But they
No,
had his
I'll tell
schedule.
Very generous, Neil.
I know. Jeez, oh,
They had his
I gotta
schedule
Okay,
if-
let me say it.
Okay.
We had two different shooting schedules.
Are you guys still fighting after the episode?
No. We love each other.
Oh, is that why we're a united front after tonight's
Exact-
episode?
Yeah. Always. So we had two different shooting schedules. One, because he doesn't really like to work with actors anymore. He would rather just do his scenes to a wall or the person who's, reading script
Holding
supervisor.
cue cards, pretty much.
Holding cue cards, and then do all his scenes like that. And then
Like
the
cheat
other-
you in.
then I would come and do my scenes, but he wouldn't be there.
would walk-
I'd
he
be
would
doing
leave.
it. So it's all the trick of the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
They would just
yeah.
All
have
just the edits.
coverage of one person and then the
So
other.
the whole movie is just like an over the shoulder
No,
shot?
no.
you know?
So he ended up seeing my reel or something, or he wanted to see my reel, and he was like, "Okay, yeah, I'd like to work with him."
It just
I'll work
depends on
with
how
him."
he feels. If he's
Yeah.
in the mood to shoot with another
When was
person, or if he
this?
wants to be by himself.
Gosh, we shot this right before our wedding. Remember? Because
Yeah.
they wanted me to do like a shaved head military haircut,
Yeah.
and I was like,
So 2015.
I can go a 2-guard on the sides. That's as far as I'm going,
2015.
guys.
Can we see that? Can we bring up a cover of this movie? What's the movie called?
Sniper Special Ops.
Sniper Special Ops.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's on Amazon, Netflix, something.
yeah. It was on all of them. It was a big Lionsgate film.
Yeah.
There we are.
Daniel's the one with the binoculars.
I want
You
to see
see?
Daniel. I don't care
Right
about fucking
next to
Steven
him.
Seagal.
When there's one
Do you
with
see it?
Steven Seagal
I
looking
gotta
at
get my eyes checked.
I did see it.
Are you in the middle or on the left?
That's not. I'm not on that
You're
one.
not. Because I'm like, you look like
Oh,
Jack
right
there.
there. One more down? Yeah. There's you.
That's me.
So you're his spotter.
I was a spotter. I was a sniper spotter.
I'm absolutely watching this movie
It-
over this.
it's not the greatest.
Not your best work.
I killed it.
You killed it.
I killed it. Saying overall.
Steven's heart wasn't in it.
overall. You know what I mean? It was that was that situation.
What was more difficult, working with Steven Seagal or Jax Taylor?
Oh,
That's a good
wow.
question.
Wow. Well, I didn't really work with Steven Seagal because literally after his scenes, he did leave, and I did
He's like, fuck this
my
guy.
yeah. I did my scenes.
Your
with
reel's better than your real work.
a 19-year-old PA who was holding up,
Like saying his lines.
yeah, saying his lines.
Yeah.
So I would have to say it was harder to work with Jax because I didn't really work with Steve.
Are you friends with him?
Jax?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how we got connected to the whole friend group was Daniel and Jax connected.
That is how we got connected. I have known him over the years for I've been out here for 20 years now.
Mhm.
So over the last decade, but I never watched Vanderpump, but we had mutual friends, so we'd see each other here and there, and it was always like, hey, what's up? But then a couple years ago, I'm from Michigan. He's from Michigan. Lions were playing the Rams, and our mutual friend, who is Edwin How do you say his last name? Arroyo? Teddy Mellencamp's husband.
There
Oh,
you go.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're good friends with them. We all meet at his place to carpool. And Jax comes in and I'm like, hey, what's going on, dude? He's like, yo. And then found out we were both from Michigan. And then, during the game, we kind of really connected and clicked. And he was like, us dads, we had just had kids. We hadn't had Ashley
I
yet.
was like, due any day
like
now.
8-9 months pregnant.
Mhm.
And he had just had Cruz.
Mm.
So he was like, I'm not doing the whole thing anymore. And
What's
like
the whole
going
thing?
out and, the bars
Partying.
and partying. He's like, us dads,
I'm a
just-
great
we
husband.
need to stick together and,
I want to be with other good husbands.
What did you know
Yeah.
about him when you became? How long ago was this?
I knew. Everybody told me. They were like, I think I posted a picture of it. Yeah, we were at his New Year's Eve party, and everybody was like, "What are you doing with Jax Taylor? He's the biggest d-bag like on the planet." And I never had got that vibe from him from after the football game, and I had never watched Vanderpump.
You're like, watching football with him was the best.
Exactly.
But even,
no,
like,
but we would
at
hang
their
out. We would
house-
hang out and go and
the thing
they became
is,
good friends
'cause
with
I-
Brittany.
I feel like we have
And
to say this.
I
That,
had defended him like to the core with everybody. I'm like, he's a great dad. He's a great husband. He's like has done a complete 180 to
Yeah.
what everybody thinks.
That's how the
Um,
relationship started, was him saying, I'm in a new stage of life. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I want to be around other good men that aren't going out and partying, that are like living a good quality life with their family. So I was like, yes, I'm down for that. Like, even if you've
Sign
had a
us up.
past,
Right.
everybody
Yes.
has a
Right,
past,
right.
right?
Yeah.
But like, you're now in this new stage where you want to be a family man and all of that. So like,
Nellie
cool.
and I are in the market for parent friends.
Exactly.
And that's
Like,
what he was
exactly.
literally
Who
saying.
was our kid going to hang out with in 5 or
Right.
6
And that's
years?
what
Right.
he was
Yeah.
saying. He was
Right.
like, I need other parents with kids the same age. Like, let's hang out. Let's be friends. I was
Yeah.
like, cool. And then didn't know the past. And I mean, you should see me even off camera at the like hangs. And when Kristen will say, oh yeah, when I hooked up with so-and-so, and I'm like, you hooked up with that? Like, I have no idea. I'm learning as we go.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys,
their past.
you didn't think signing up for the Valley.
All right.
Maybe we should go back and watch
let's-
some of these
let's-
people work.
Let's
Literally.
I had seen a couple episodes. So it was about 6 months later that Jax came to me with this idea. He said, hey, it's been a few years since we've done a reality show. And he pitched me this thing, which wasn't what it ended up turning out
No,
to
did he
be.
pitch
his
you?
pitch was not what we
His pitch
experienced.
was
Jax Taylor said
Families-
one thing and then did
exactly.
another.
It was
Holy shit.
couples that had kids. They moved to the Valley.
Okay.
And they went from popping bottles to warming bottles, and it's
That's a
gonna
good
be
tagline.
it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be guys, dads trying to change diapers while the wives go to Palm Springs. Like he's like, it's just gonna be hilarious.
It's gonna be
It's
funny,
gonna be
just
like
real
middle
life.
America is just gonna love it. And I was like, this seems like fun and harmless.
And like trying to still be like successful in your career, in your industry,
Yeah.
but like having kids and that
Yeah.
juggle and that challenge. That's what we were.
He pitched you guys a sitcom, and y'all ended up on a soap opera.
Exactly.
Like, at what point were you guys
Telenovela.
like brushing your teeth at night and be like, what the
So
hell did
let
we
me
do?
let me continue.
Every
So-
day.
so every day. So then all of a sudden, Scandival happened. So
Okay.
this was like
Well, so you agreed
So-
to the Valley before Scandival.
Right.
Interesting.
Scandival happened. We start getting calls, and they're like, "This thing's greenlit, and we're gonna
Like
start
immediately, let's make
shooting."
5
Yeah,
shows.
exactly.
Yes, and let's do it now.
And also Jax was like, "It's never going to be about Vanderpump. I don't want anything to do with Vanderpump. It's not going to be like that drama."
Right.
And it ends up being a Vanderpump spinoff. And still, myself,
Like, why is that half of the cast of Vanderpump?
I was
I
gonna
went
say.
in. I went in with just rose-colored glasses.
Rose-colored
I
glasses.
was
this
so
sweet
stupid.
man.
I was like, this is gonna be. He's like, yeah, we're gonna be playing like pickleball, and we're gonna be doing this and going on trips. And I'm like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be fun. And then, literally, if you've watched the show, every episode, Nia and I are just looking at each other like,
What is happening?
What is happening? People are slamming tables, and like, actually, these couples hate each other, and
We had no idea what we were getting into.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's interesting to know just because I don't know. I'm sure you guys don't listen to the show. But
I've
we're,
listened to some episodes.
we're very critical of one Jax Taylor. Love you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's just like, but we also understand sometimes people are making TV,
Right.
but
Mhm.
like,
Right.
we think Vanderpump's one of the most authentic shows on television. So for the most part, we we like to believe that these people are really being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you think is Jax Taylor just who he? I've interacted with him a couple times, but I'm so hard on him. Like, do we try to give him the benefit of the doubt, or is that a wasted energy?
I mean, at this point in like life, we should have cameras up like a month ago. Like we should have already been recording. I'm like, Jax is just
With what's been going on.
right. Like he is what you see. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
He came out with a tweet about you two in a response
Oh my
saying,
gosh, he's so annoying.
right? Saying somebody was like that you two are their favorite couple on the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
And then his response was like, stay tuned,
Right.
insinuating
Always
that there's
promoting.
more
Oh,
to
yeah.
come. Do you know what he's talking about? Or is he trying to
I'm
like paint you
assuming
guys in a light?
Last night's episode.
I was going to say.
Did you
Listen,
feel like it was aired authentically?
Okay, so yes. And before all the episodes came out, we're like, we lived it. We know what we experienced, all the craziness. We're just gonna laugh at ourselves, like laugh everything off. So I'm trying to just like have like a whatever, it happened, we're past it. It was 6 months ago kind of thing. But yeah, it was intense to watch back. What do you want to say, Boo?
it was a year ago. And
Anything you want to address?
yes,
Do you wanna-
yes.
This is your moment.
Yes. And in the words of Jax Taylor,
Oh boy.
I had one too many sodas that day.
Uh-huh.
You want to blame it
And-
on the alcohol?
Exactly.
Oh.
And the altitude. And that's
The altitude.
blame it on the altitude. Yeah, I was gone, baby, gone. And we were at the table, and I was dressed up as this character, and I was doing, these big gestures and things. But then, people started to bring up our personal drama of like where we wanted to live. And then I felt starting to get like attacked. And it turned into me getting a bit defensive and not having a long fuse and maybe snapping on my wife for a second.
Mhm.
So
Like,
That wasn't fun.
so what but up until this point, we were like, Danny's the one good guy. You know?
exactly.
Like,
And I am. And I
it's
am.
like the one guy who actually knows how to talk to his wife.
and I
Right.
am. This was a
and
weak
people
moment.
have moments.
Yes.
So
This is one I definitely.
So not since we
It's
have your wife
annoying.
here,
Yeah.
we'll just talk to
My turn.
We feel like this was an out of pocket experience for your husband.
Yeah, this was a moment, and it was
We can still
not fun.
prop him up as
He's still an amazing
Husband
man.
goals?
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
He has husband goals. And I think it's also like people have moments, and I don't like being put up in this. Like people like, they're perfect. We are not perfect.
Pretty close.
We
pretty
are
close.
not perfect. And we have our arguments, we have our things, and we all have our moments. So like I'm actually kind of glad like we're not propped up as this like perfect couple, because like we had a moment and we talk it out later. And I don't think he gave me this like beautiful full like apology. I'm so sorry and blah blah blah. I don't even think that makes it on camera, but he did
No, it
apologize
didn't.
the next day.
It didn't.
Yeah, that-
I love how they took.
that matters less, the on camera part. What
Yeah,
really
yeah.
matters is you
Oh,
felt
of course.
like
No, no, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But just it's weird with these things. It's our first time doing a show like this, to where it happened a year ago, and then you have to relive it all over again. So
Yeah.
Did you-
And I knew this episode was coming, and I didn't know how it was going to be portrayed, but I just knew like I had anxiety about it. I was like, oh, this big bear, that didn't go well. I did not make smart decisions on this trip. And you have to kind of relive it over and over, and just making sure that she checking in with her, seeing how she's feeling about it, coming back and having
I still am dealing with some postpartum emotions. I'm like in a different stage. It's not really like postpartum depression. My therapist, which now I have an incredible therapist, is like, you're starting to wean, and there's a huge hormone drop when you're not breastfeeding as much anymore. So I'm like going through all my emotions, watching the show back, and I'm just like, oh, this is not fun to relive it, even though like we've moved past it, but it just brings it back up sometimes. So he is doing a good job of like, how are you doing? How do you feel after watching that? Is there anything I can do for you now? So
Yeah.
he's good at checking in, because I do still get emotional. So
well,
it's life.
you're only human.
Because I love you so much.
Thank you.
What was I gonna ask?
You were
I have
going
a
to go in for a
question.
dig.
Yeah.
Because you two are one of two couples that are still together on the show.
Yep.
I mean, Kristen
Well,
and Luke.
Kristen and Luke, but they're not
married.
married. Yes.
Right,
Jan-
married couples.
Janet and
yes.
Jason.
Oh my gosh.
With like all of the drama and seeing everybody else's relationships and whatnot, like what do you two do to kind of keep yourselves sane in that environment, let alone like nurse your relationship? 'Cause I'm like, I feel like you
Yeah.
have so many influences that are just like, get out while the going's, and
Oh,
I'm like, so
yeah.
what do you guys do to keep sane.
I mean, I feel like we just check in with each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like we really, really communicate well. And I feel like you see that on the show with the other couples. Like they don't have the best communication.
Right.
And we really do like slow down, check in multiple times with each other. Like, how are you doing? Are we still feeling good? Are we on the same team? We really just make sure each other's okay.
And, we have 3 kids under 2. Well, 3 kids under 3 now.
3 kids under 3.
3
Life
kids
is
under 3.
wild.
So life is wild. You know what I mean? We really don't have time to we're raising children, trying to be the best dad and the best husband, and she's the most amazing, wife and mom. And that's what keeps us busy. And but being intentional on checking in with each other.
Yeah. And we have a lot of support, which is great, so that we can like try to do date nights, like keep each other. Because the thing is, like, you hear a lot of the couples saying, my child's number one, my child's number one. And I'm like, our relationship is number one for us, and our child is right there next to it. But like, we have to keep our relationship healthy for our family to be healthy.
Right.
So it's like, that's, important.
Did
for
you guys
us.
have any of those conversations? I mean, I love that you guys say that. That's great. But like, to kind of piggybacking off of Sierra's question, did you guys have conversations between the two of you going into filming? Like, Nia and I would never do what you guys do.
Yeah.
And I say that with like awe and like also appreciation. We love the show. We love talking about it.
Yeah.
Nia and I obviously get asked from time to time, like, would you guys ever do like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because like,
Why not?
well, so many reasons. What? Let me bring out my notes app. Well, one, it's just the track record of married couples or just relationships in general on reality TV. There isn't a good one.
Right.
2, it's just like I feel like you guys kind of demonstrate this on the show a little bit, but like I feel like our number one rule, like Nia and I as a couple, it's just like we, more than anything, like protect each other.
Right.
Like, it's like they always say, it's just like you have something to say, like do it in privacy. Like if like an employee were to come up and be like, oh, I think this. It's like, hey, you can talk to me about anything, but let's not do it in front of the team kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even I think as a couple, husband and wife, just like you want to protect each other. You always want to have each other's backs. You want to be united front, be a team. And reality TV, to make reality TV, that goes against the entire concept of being a reality TV star, is to like talk about your friends and closest people behind their backs, like in your confessionals. It's the whole nature of it. So to be a good reality TV star almost means you have to be a bad partner.
Right.
One could argue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how did you guys approach that as a couple who so far seems, you guys, you say a lot of the good things, you're demonstrating a healthy relationship. Maybe you guys have the benefit of having a bunch of assholes on
That is someone,
So like we're good, Danny. We have Jesse.
Exactly.
We will let them carry the drama.
Exactly. No, we wanted to go into this and kind of flip the turn the tables and say, hey, let's show what a healthy marriage is. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we've got such positive feedback and thousands of comments and DMs of just like, thank you for staying true and not getting involved in all the BS and showing how much you guys love each other and how you guys communicate that and are intentional about it. By no means, again, are we perfect? Obviously we have our, ups and downs. And yes, then some people say, well, they're doing the bare minimum. Look who they're around. You know what I mean? It's like the bar is set pretty low and they're just shining because of that. But, we wanted to bring light to things like postpartum depression, things that she was
Which I didn't know I
through.
was going to be experiencing when we started filming.
Right.
We just were like, we're going to just show the real of our life. And our life is crazy enough without it being like, is so-and-so cheating on so-and-so or has a drinking problem? Like, our life is crazy, just not that kind of crazy. So we'll let them carry that kind of crazy because that's really their life. And it's quite unfortunate to see because I like with the girls side of things, like I love all the girls and it's so sad to see them dealing with all the craziness of their relationships. And then we'll just show what our drama. It's not their kind of drama, but it's our own drama.
And like you said, I wanted to protect her, wanted to protect our marriage. I was on Jax's podcast and Vanderpump, everybody's hooking up with each other and they're all like still best friends and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, that's not normal.
No,
that's not normal. Like one way we protect our marriage is anybody that we've been dated or like physically intimate with or whatever, we just cut that off. You know, don't play with fire. We just try to protect our marriage in any way that we can.
Yeah. Yeah. It's do you think Jax Taylor would rather be a better husband or a better TV star?
Would he rather be?
Yeah. Not what he would say.
You want to
You can
answer?
take it.
I mean, I feel like what is it in the pudding? What is
Proof
it?
is in the
Proof is
pudding.
in the pudding.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm really not great with my sayings. Yeah. No, I feel like you
We
can
won't
see.
hold that against you.
I was like, I'll answer it.
Thank
TV
you.
star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd rather be a better dad or a better TV star?
dad? I mean, he
Yeah.
loves
Do you think he
Cruz with all
really
his heart.
means that?
I do. I see him with like when he's with Cruz,
Yeah.
like that's like his whole world. But I think everything else is just like, let's,
But isn't like demonstrating good character as a human being or demonstrating how you talk to your wife or how you treat your wife?
Right.
Isn't that part of being a good parent?
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I see the
like
flip side
I mean,
of that.
you know, like how much does he really care? I think everyone talks about how they want to be, how much their kids matter, and,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Right.
saying they don't matter. I'm
Right.
sure Jax loves his kid in the way Jax knows how to love, but
Yeah.
Right.
maybe that's limited.
Yeah, I mean, here's my perspective. I really think that he's struggling. I think he's got a lot going on. And
Jax.
Jax does, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think he really needs to address like mental, emotional, like I think he's going through a lot and he's maybe obviously not handling it in a healthy way. I think he needs to like dive deep and do some work. But is he willing to do that? Is he willing to go to a great therapist? I don't know. But I think he needs
Yeah,
to
he's
work
done a
on
lot
himself.
of Bravo therapy.
Right, which like that doesn't count at all to
No.
me. No, that
No.
doesn't
No,
count.
they're just updating the audience. Like, this is what
Exactly.
happened last
Exactly.
episode.
No, you
No,
gotta-
there's some real big changes that need to happen and some sacrifices that need to take place.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you know, with the show comes, you know, all the fame and all that, and that becomes like a drug as well. And then you lose your wife and your marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the saying of what good is a man who gains the world if he loses his soul? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
right.
So,
And going
or,
into
or a
this-
family.
Is that a
so
saying?
That's Bible, bro.
Oh.
Bible.
That's verse.
Yeah.
Exactly. And going into
Yeah.
this, we did say, I told him, I was like, our marriage and our relationship is number one most important. So if I feel like at any point this is negatively affecting our marriage, like we're out, we're done, that our marriage is more important than anything else. So
Yeah.
like, we're not going to just ride the wave into what all these other relationships are hitting. Like we have to keep us first over the show, over the paycheck, over the experience, the fame. Like our relationship is most important.
And
So-
that's why we didn't go along with a lot of the stuff that was even on the show. It's like, who else would you have a threesome with? You know, and
Excellent answer,
in the
Danny.
Yeah.
It was great.
And like we just don't go there.
right.
We're not gonna
That's not
answer
how
it.
we
No, it's a weird thing.
do things
Yeah,
in our
yeah.
relationship. Yeah.
They're like,
But of course-
Weird
Yeah.
couples night.
Yeah.
Right?
Who wants to fight first?
Exactly.
Guys, this is how we make TV.
I know. So
Yeah.
you know,
I
we
was
just-
really touched last week, Danny, by the emotions you shared when you were talking about your relationships with other men.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you
wanna
have anything
touch
more?
on that?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was very
Yeah, I'm-
vulnerable
I
of you.
am-
And I
I'm-
was also like, it was like vulnerable, but also I was a bit kind of like, yeah, no, but like, why these men?
Yeah.
You know, like, why are we shedding tears over? It's like,
I hear you.
Trying
hear
to
you.
explain vulnerability to Jesse. Like,
yeah, well, it's just like, but in all seriousness, like, you know, I think as men, I think especially as we get older, you know,
Yeah.
and we invest and we get married and we're lucky enough to have a partner that we really want to value this relationship and we have kids.
Right.
We do want to surround ourselves with people who share our values.
Right,
And I
right.
think, you know, nowadays all people are having a hard time making and maintaining friendships,
Yeah,
you know, especially people. I don't know where you're from, Nia. Are you from around here?
California.
Okay,
Mhm.
but like people who come to LA and kind of are transplanted, and you've been around here for a while, but
Yeah.
it's just like it's a tough town to maintain
Yeah,
friendships, and so like expressing that vulnerability because I think a lot of men struggle with that, like
Right.
you know, not holding on to some of their male friends. But have you given that more thought, since you guys filmed that episode in terms of like minus the TV side, like what kind of male friendships do you want to continue to invest in?
Right. Yeah, ones that have more of a moral compass, that want to be good human beings and are intentional and showing that, because it's true. Again, not to quote something else, but
I love the quote so far.
You do become like those you hang around.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
show me your 5 best friends and I'll show you your future. So
At the same time, I feel like you have a beautiful heart and you like really want to like encourage and uplift and like help guide like Jesse and Jax in certain ways. Like,
definitely.
you know, Jax is kind of going through it. He's said on his own podcast, like he's like, and Daniel's like, will call and check in. Like, I'm here for you. Like, do you need someone to just like hang with and talk to? Like, you are trying to be a good influence on like for your friends, but it's also like, don't let them influence you.
Have you
That's
ever
my
like
stance.
said to Jax, like, what the fuck, man? Ever?
Yeah.
What does he say?
He usually deflects and, you know, brushes it off. Or, you know, he'll say, you know, I am really going through a lot and try to call and then, you know, he won't pick up. We've been trying to get, you know, I want to get some one-on-one time to just really see how he's doing. Because I feel like he is, even if you follow him on social media, like some of the stuff he's posting is like, I'm depressed. Like I'm putting on a smile because I have to, but like there's some inner deep, and even on his podcast, he was like, I don't know how to be happy. I'm always chasing the next thing. I'm not happy. I think the last time I was happy was when Cruz was born, and that was, you know, 3 years ago.
It's sad.
So it's sad.
Yeah.
It really is sad. But he just tries to keep himself busy to, you know, and other things to mask it and to medicate with the wrong things.
It makes me so sad for him.
I know.
You know?
I know. Because I do know that deep down, we have had good conversations before the show, and it was like you can see a soul in there. You can see a heart in there that really does want to change and does care, but he's just got to start doing things to make it better.
What about Jesse?
Ooh, Jesse. Ooh, Jesse. Jesse.
You kind of fucking hate him.
You do?
No,
Daniel?
No,
I don't know him.
Well,
I mean,
the thing is,
person he represents on TV,
Yeah.
I've never met him.
yeah.
So I don't.
We
He doesn't seem like my kind of guy.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he wrapped that towel around your neck,
I
I was
know.
like,
I know. I
no.
And then I think that going into, obviously, drinking all day in Big Bear was a big mistake, especially with these guys who drink like 2 bottles of tequila by themselves. You know, it was a lead up of that in the van, then him not apologizing after I had brought it up and was asking for one, just like trying to. Yeah, I don't like not being on the same page with someone, not being liked, really. And I feel like I had a target on my back, you know, a lot of the couple months of us filming with Jesse. So
Like almost like a target on the back where like, did Jesse not appreciate like how good of a part, like almost like he wanted you to bro it up almost, like
not bro it up, but maybe like
be more of a fuck?
probably that. And also, you know,
Do he like tease you for being a kiss ass to your wife or shit like that?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
you know, he did a lot of that.
See, I would just be like, thank you.
Right.
He's a good husband.
Keep
We're on the same
compliments
page.
coming,
We
Jesse.
check in with each other. Like, yeah.
Exactly. No, you know, I would say, you know, I want to be a light to you, man. Like I want to, you know, help in this area. And obviously I know your marriage is struggling. He's like, oh, you want to be a light? I'm going to call you Dark Side Danny. You know?
Oh,
Yeah, he just like throws
As
daggers.
like, you know,
Yeah.
just
Even
like,
he makes it
he
playful.
makes
but
it playful. So the whole thing was kind of that. And then he was like, well, you know, I thought you had thick skin and da da da. And that's where it was like, you know, I have 2 brothers, and I've had the same kind of like conversation whenever we get into a quarrel, whenever it's I'm always kind of like the peacemaker, but I get hurt, I get emotional. And I think that's what, you know, had taken place around the fire of just like, dude, I want us to be good. I want us to be okay. I want you to be good. And also I'm struggling, you know, with a lot of stuff that I'm going through right now too. So it was just kind of being vulnerable with that.
I do think with Jesse, I don't like how he treats Michelle. Like as like the girl side of it, I'm like, I don't have time for him. And then we'll have moments like at Jax's bar a few weeks ago, and you'll be like, oh, he's sweet, which like is not what is shown on camera. But he came up to us. He's like, hey, I finally did the love language test. He's like, I did it. And he, you know, he has a girlfriend now. And he's like, and my girlfriend did it.
He did that after his divorce?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
But it's
I
now
know.
apparently helping in his
timing.
current
No kidding.
relationship.
Yeah.
And so he was so excited to tell us, like, hey, I did that test and like I'm learning more about myself and I'm learning about my girlfriend and like it's really great for us. And obviously not so good after you divorce and you have a child and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's like you see these like moments of like
little glimpses. faces.
Yeah,
and even after
kindness.
that last episode, you know, he did send me a text apologizing. He was like, "Hey, sorry for treating you how I did at the beach."
So
And,
you feel like maybe he's making some positive changes in his life?
Yes.
yeah, we're trying to plant some seeds here.
Well, I'm curious. I mean, I'm watching like the Valley, and like you've been in this industry for a while. You've had your
20 years.
success, you know, like. But like Jesse, he just truly seemed like he was just like a real estate bro,
Right.
and so I'm watching this season, and I'm thinking, why would anyone go on this show to look like this? Like, why would
Right.
they? I honestly am just like fascinated, but like, what
Yeah.
was Jesse thinking? Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on this show so I can like show America that my wife fucking hates me. I mean, how many times does he have to like talk about getting laid so that Michelle can look like she's throwing up in her mouth?
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh
I'm not
my
even trying to be
gosh.
mean. It was just more like, have you talked to Jesse about like, what is this? Like, how does he did he just not know what he was getting into? Did he feel like he got a bad edit?
I
Is this
mean,
I'm so like fascinated by the character that is Jesse,
Right.
and like how has this affected him?
Well,
He is
said
a
it.
character.
He said it on camera. He said, you know, I had a friend, and he was like, he didn't really like me, but he said, you know, once I realized that you just are a douchebag and that you own that, that's really charming. And he's like, so that's kind of how I carry
feel
my
like
life.
That's
Just
how he
be
carries himself. He's like, I love it. This is who I am.
I'm like, dude.
And we've all been douchebags. at
Exactly.
times.
I think
we've
we
all
just-
had our
Exactly.
moments.
Carry
but, like,
but you
why
don't
did
want
you,
to
why do you
label
embrace it
yourself. Exactly.
as a 40-some-year-old married guy with a
Exactly.
kid?
I
Like
know.
his happiest moment was when he put on the rollerblades.
I-
He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna show these guys I play hockey." It's like, holy shit.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jesse.
Yeah.
Is he happier now?
He seems really
very
happy.
happy
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
And Michelle's so happy.
Yep.
Like, so happy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, she hated him.
Yeah, we didn't. It's again, you don't see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that other people are filming until you know the show comes out. So
yeah, I had no
we
idea.
had no idea
how bad their
it
marriage
was.
was.
We knew it was bad,
Okay.
but then
Really?
you know
You
with
didn't
their
know.
scenes together,
Oh my gosh.
and also with
I-
Jax and Brittany with their scenes together,
Right.
it was like we
But
didn't know
I
it was
thought-
that bad.
I thought that Jax and Brittany were like better. I mean, they were, I guess, at a different place than Jesse and Michelle. They were like a little bit better, but it just nothing was getting resolved. Whereas like Jesse and Michelle, I didn't realize how bad it was. I texted her after the first few episodes and I said, I'm so sorry, because I don't think a lot of what I was talking with Michelle about made it to camera, but I kept being like, but if you guys just work on it, it can get better. And no, like they just were unhappy for so long. So
Why do you
I feel
think
bad.
do you think when they signed up and agreed to the show that they must have known things weren't?
I think they knew
Good.
it wasn't good. I think they were going to like try to work through it and like show that on camera and like see how it turned out. And it obviously did not turn out good.
I was like watching that Big Bear fight between Jax and Brittany. I mean, that was just
Sheesh.
heartbreaking to watch. Like
Yeah.
a husband speak to his wife, let
Yeah.
alone a
Yeah.
person speak to another person like
Oh,
that in
yeah.
a vulnerable moment.
But it also didn't like to that point. It just didn't like the way Jax was talking about. I mean, that's what's so scary about Jax is how good of a how good of a liar he is in this moment. But like he was just like she gets sick does she get sick every time? Is that there's something like why
No.
was he going after her like that?
So aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's maybe some type of thing where he's like taking attention off of himself. Like if she looks bad, then I won't look so bad. I don't know. But it makes him look bad because that's his wife. And so
Because he's-
it doesn't
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah.
But it's also like Brittany, and she said this before, like she's dealt with a lot of stress induced like physical things. Like she used to break out in hives because of
Sure.
stress. And I feel like a lot of this was stress as well. But I'm like, it's stress that your husband's putting on you.
Yeah.
So like we need to figure something out here. I feel like it's Jax induced stress that's inducing everything else,
Oh,
which
God.
is so sad.
Yeah, it's been tough to watch some of their.
You make
some
your
of their
wife
stuff.
sick.
Literally.
Exactly. That I mean,
Literally.
that's the Jasmine quote when she was doing her confessional. She's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, she's not sick. She's sick of
of
you."
you.
How is Jasmine? I haven't seen her
I
since she
love
choked
her.
me. I'm just kidding. I've seen her a few times, but she's great.
She's
Oh,
great.
man.
Yeah, she's good. She's with family on the East Coast right now, but come back soon. So
Did you guys film together?
She was on my season of The Bachelor.
Oh, she was.
Yeah.
She was.
how did we not talk about this?
We were trying to do
Yeah.
some research. I know, but I didn't know that.
Put two hands
I
on
didn't
my
know
neck.
She
that.
put
Well,
she
you
put
gotta
her
go.
hands on you.
You're gone. That's hilarious.
That was
She's great.
2016. They didn't care then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Different times.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an opinion on the Kristen, Zach,
Janet.
Janet little the messiness that's going on?
The dark comment that was
Oh,
allegedly
it's
made
going
by
on
Zach.
now.
Yeah, the
Oh,
comment war on
yeesh.
Instagram.
I mean, it's all just like sad. I mean, we handle ourselves differently. I'm like, why can't we just treat people better? Like,
Yeah.
be better people. And that's obviously not what's happening. I don't know how season 2 is going to be going. Like, how are we going to even be in the same room with the, like, Janet is obviously rightfully so, like, mad if all that was said. I wasn't there whenever it was said, but it's like,
So you don't know if it's repeated verbatim.
I've heard the rumors about it, but I wasn't there. Apparently, he said it after we had left Jax's bar opening. But
Okay,
yeah.
so this was an off-camera thing that happened recently.
No.
Oh, this is before.
This is
a while
this was-
ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
While filming?
Well, yeah,
After
after
filming.
filming the finale,
Right.
which you'll see.
After filming the finale, Zach
Zach, yeah,
allegedly wished death
Mm.
upon
upon
Janet's
Janet.
unborn baby,
Okay.
and allegedly that she would commit suicide as well. It's like
Oh.
it's a really dark
Holy
statement
cow.
that's being repeated right now.
Yeah, I
Well,
didn't see.
What,
I
what
didn't
did Zach say last week's episode? He's
He's
petty with a purpose.
With a purpose.
petty with a purpose.
He is petty
And then he
with
was
a
like,
purpose.
"I'm only petty if you give me a
It's because you gave me a purpose.
purpose," which wasn't as clever as he
yeah.
wanted it to
He's-
sound.
He's had some witty, one-liners here and there, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Like, isn't that the point of being petty?
exactly.
Anyways, do you
Anyways, I think
knowing the people involved and
Mhm.
knowing that they're just rumors, who do you guys tend to believe?
I mean,
plead the fifth.
yeah, yeah.
I plead.
It's just so uncomfortable. It's like so like if he really said that, like it's just wrong and uncomfortable and like ooh.
Horrible.
I feel like you believe in Janet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm friends with both of them, so that's also hard. Like I
I
feel like I'm
think-
similar to Brittany, where I'm like I'm friends with everybody, but like you can't.
But has
Be a
Zach,
terrible
is Zach
person.
denying it?
Yeah,
I think they are.
there's no comment.
There's no comment.
I don't think so. Not a response from him. It was a response from Kristen saying that she had miscarried, that she would never say anything like that or be associated with that. And then Janet was like, I'm glad to know that you finally will speak out against your friend saying something
Oh my
awful.
gosh.
So, I mean, Janet's 10 toes, this happened and this was
Yeah.
said. And Kristen's saying that she didn't. And Zach has not made a comment.
But it
It's
wasn't
terrible.
said to. Yeah, there's so much telephone.
It's a lot of hearsay. Yeah.
exactly.
He said, she said. So
Right.
it's kind of
'Cause
like,
He didn't say it to her. He said it to somebody else who then brought it. Somehow it got to her. Anyway, season 2 is going to be crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be addressed then.
Are you excited or nervous?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
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 Do you know when you're supposed to start filming or is there?
Summer time. Yep. I have no idea the exact date, but
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Lala being a part of your cast?
well, Jax says
Jax is
there's
making it
no way,
very
no
clear.
how. She's gonna.
Jax, it's not Jax's.
I'm like, are you the boss?
Yeah.
Are
Have
you
seen
the
Jax's?
making the
This is
decisions?
his show, okay?
He's got a lot of
He came
meetings.
up with everything. He is the CEO, the producer,
I'm
the
sure.
Casting.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yes.
he is the
It's a
one.
one-man
Yes,
show.
he
Yes,
he has
exactly.
Publicly
How would
said
you
this
feel about
numerous
Lala
times.
being a part of your cast?
Okay, I love Lala. I've been around her plenty with like all the group friend
Mhm.
hangs and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm generally a bit of like a softer person, but I really appreciate like a strong woman.
Mhm.
So I love her, and I think it would be fun. I would never want to get on her bad side.
Yeah. What happens if you don't want to have a conversation?
Yeah, I will see how.
Like, what
yeah.
happens if you and Danny have a fight and then you just move on
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
you get over it?
Right, and Lala's not over it.
And you're like, you know what? I don't know if I feel like just roasting my husband on camera. We've squashed this.
Exactly.
She's like, that's not what you said on the phone to me
That's
3
what
months
you
ago.
fucking
That's
said,
right.
motherfucker.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I just never want to be on Lala's bad side, but I do love a strong woman, and so I appreciate that about her. But
Okay.
just try not to get on her bad side.
So you will welcome her and just not show up to the day she's well, maybe that.
I'm just wondering, who's coming back and
Do you
are
not know?
not at this time. And are there significant others that
right,
are
like
going to
it's
be
Jesse's girlfriend and Michelle's boyfriend, and like if Jax
and
is
what's going on with Jackson,
other
Brittany,
people,
and,
and
what I mean? It's
like what's
Well,
what
seems
does it look like?
Yeah,
you
and
know,
do you guys? I would think it would be fair game for the OG cast, you guys
Right.
being
Yeah.
question all the intentions of like whoever the new girlfriend is,
Mhm.
right?
things like that. For like, I mean, do you guys know Jo from Vanderpump? Have you met her?
I've never met her.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. We
She seems
watched
terrible.
no idea about her at
She
all.
just seems like she climbed her way onto the show.
Yeah.
That's just my take.
Yeah.
But we have been watching some of Vanderpump, and
Yeah.
it's tough to see
What
her
part?
her cry.
Do you feel sorry for Joe?
I feel a little bit. I feel a little bit of what the scene where she like really loved Tom and was hoping things were gonna work, and he was like,
I mean, I feel bad she's sad.
right.
What about all the going on the Instagram lives and
Yeah.
No,
Are you up
that
to
new
date on all
stuff. I'm not
that?
up to date on that. So I got 3 kids. I got 17 kids.
you're just a sweet man who doesn't want to see people cry?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you guys spend time with your cast members off camera? Like, who have you seen the most? Who do you spend the most time with? And like, who do you stay away from? Or be like, okay, I'll see you when cameras pick back up.
I feel like it's a sprinkling of everybody. Like when we're filming,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, we're all getting together at least once a week in a group setting, and we'll like do our own individual hangs. We see Michelle almost every week. We see Jesse here and there. I see Brittany, Kristen, Zach last week. So we kind of see everybody
Luke.
sprinkling.
I went golfing with Luke.
Yeah. So we
Last
see
month,
everybody
yeah.
here and there, but it's like when you're filming, it's just all condensed.
But a
Condensed.
decent amount. Sounds like you guys are
Actually, friends.
all friends. Yeah.
Here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're begrudgingly friends with them.
No, I actually
Are
do
Jesse
care
and
about these
Michelle
people.
cool with each other now?
I think they're getting to a better place. We
Yes.
did pick up cameras when like the separations were happening. So I
okay.
think that'll be in the final episode. I don't know. We haven't seen it. But they, as they were separating and figuring out their thing, and then Brittany and Jax, that's all. We got a lot of that on camera. So
Yeah.
that I'm assuming we'll make it into the final episode.
Yeah. The cliffhangers are pretty intense.
Okay.
Insane.
I love this, truly. And also, I do have to give you credit, Nia, being so vulnerable about your postpartum and
you.
that journey. I can't imagine what it's like having 3 under 3, let alone all of a sudden having cameras in your face and having to be like, this is me, this is how it is.
Yeah.
How was filming throughout that process and trying to like understand what you're emotionally going through, let alone not performing, but being authentic, but also having cameras around?
Yeah, it was really hard because I'm like one of those people that like mentally prepares. All right, we're doing this. We're gonna like show how crazy our life is with all the small children. I was not mentally prepared for what I was experiencing, like hormonally and emotionally and all of that. So it was like I would be crying at home and all right, we have to go film now. Put on a happy face and just like try to like be present in the moment and not like I would try to push aside what I was feeling.
Yeah.
But then after a while, you're like, you can't push it aside forever. And, you're filming and eventually it's going to come up. Obviously, it came up a lot. I cried a lot on camera. But it's just one of those things where it felt really out of my control. Like I couldn't stop it. So just like I couldn't be like, oh, I don't want to cry today. Like it wasn't something I could control.
I think it was appreciated though, because I haven't had a baby or anything, but it's seeing the authenticity of what's actually going on in life and that it's not all about the drama. And I really liked when you were at dinner and one of the girls wanted to talk drama and you were just like, I've got enough on my plate that I can't handle this. But I'm like, it's really cool seeing like authentic adult relationships. And also, as I said, you just being so true to yourself in that moment. Like, I know that we're on a show and that we're supposed to do all this gossip, but like, honestly, my brain can't handle it. So I just wanted to give you so much credit for that because it was really great to watch.
Yeah, there was a lot of times where I'm like, I just don't have the capacity for this.
Yeah.
Right.
My cup is full with the kids and the emotions and all the things. Like, love you. I'm sorry that this is happening.
Yeah.
But like, I can't jump into it with you right now.
No.
Maybe next season, not right now. So,
But you didn't, you didn't have to. You didn't have to go there. You didn't have to. You could have kept a face of.
I tried.
I know.
I tried to keep it together.
No, but I'm saying I was really proud of you that you did feel, so
Thank you.
vulnerable and able to share everything that was really going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been like positive on like people reaching out on social media and all that. Like even women saying, I didn't have the words to express how I was feeling, but like your words helped me.
Yeah.
And that, meant a lot to me because I didn't even feel like I had the right words. I'm sitting here in the interview chair trying to express what I'm going through or express it in real time. And it's like, it feels like so hard to describe what's being experienced, but I'm glad I could put some words to it that people relate to. So,
well, it's nice to see you guys have a healthy relationship amongst the
chaos.
The crazy.
I hope you guys can keep it together. Yeah.
We're trying.
Oh, we will.
You will.
Okay.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Did we ever decide the definition of a Napoleon complex?
Yes. I think you're wrong, Danny.
I was like, where's the mic?
You were so confident too.
Basically, you're just like if the person's short,
The person,
it's Napoleon.
Exactly.
What is it?
Napoleon complex.
Won't date somebody over 5'3".
Right.
Sure.
Can't date somebody
that
taller
was
than
his
me.
definition.
You're not that short, are you, Nia?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm 5'7".
Yeah, we're the
That's
same height.
Yeah, what were you even talking? Your own wife.
I was saying this is like when people were talking
Oh, that was
about,
like, you're like, I'm not Napoleon. My
No.
wife's 5'7".
No. What was happening is people were saying what their types were. And I
Uh-huh.
said before Nia, I would never date a girl like over 5'3", 5'4". And I was like, is it Napoleon complex? Maybe. And then Jason was like,
That's not right.
that's not
Let
what
me give you the
Napoleon
definition.
complex means.
Leave it to the lawyer.
And I was
Yeah.
like, no, it is.
And
It
Jax
is.
goes, uh-huh.
He's like, no, dude. It's because if you think you're short, you just become a dick because you know you
Overcompensating.
overcompensate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you learn how to use a drill?
Daniel is not a handyman.
I saw that.
I got 3 kids. I know how to use a drill. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And these comments.
All right.
And even there's like
You're going to
moments.
lose your number 1 guy status again.
America's sweetheart is gone.
I know how to use a drill. We get it. You fuck.
I did.
I'm just fucking with you. It's
We
good.
have
No,
healthy
no, I am
marriage.
not. God did not bless me with the gene of manual labor.
As long as you can pay for it, man.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And Daniel's
know?
dad is in town right now, and he's helping with some things around
Doing
the house.
everything.
He's
Doing
literally walking
everything.
around with like a
He loves
screwdriver
it.
and
He
like
loves it.
My dad.
Yeah,
Hammer.
that sounds like your dad.
No, yeah. Like I
What can
can
I
be
fix?
handy.
Right.
I've been handy. I've had handy jobs that required me to be handy,
Right.
but I don't. It's like not my thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like my time is better served
Exactly.
doing other things.
There you
and
go.
me hiring someone who's going to do it faster and better than me doing it
There
just
you
so
go.
I can impress my wife. you know?
Totally.
You know, it
Totally.
didn't make it on camera because we weren't planning on filming the day, but it was after the guys like completely botched the job and did not build the crib that needed to be built. Jesse sent his handyman over. He like paid for an hour of his time and he's like, here you go, let's get the crib built. So his handyman showed up the next morning at like 9 a.m. and built the crib for
There
us.
you
So
go.
Yuri.
that was nice.
That's nice.
Yuri. Another glimpse of Jesse.
A moment.
How so? We didn't like Yuri?
No, we love Yuri.
we
Saying that
love
was
Yuri.
nice that he like sent his handyman
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Was
that's
like, we'll get
nice.
that crib
Yeah.
built for you. And he's like, you have him for an hour. Anything else? So he
Yeah,
like worked on a toilet. He did something else for us. Like,
Nice.
I could not imagine my wife or ex-wife saying, change your entire personality.
Oh my God.
That was tough.
Yeah.
I actually felt bad for him there.
Yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
register though. He's
Yeah.
like, really?
I know. There started to be a flip
Sure you don't
that
wanna have
was
sex with
happening,
me?
and then he just brought it back.
Drugs in the desert fixes everything.
Exactly.
It was the beanie. He had the beanie
The
on.
beanie,
Like,
yeah.
He's like,
It was a transcendence experience.
Oh my gosh.
He said, "What happened then after the next
like
day
why
at the
did
beach?"
he could have
Because he took off the beanie. That's
save
why.
the drugs and the beanie. Just take a love language exam.
There you go.
Exactly.
Like,
Well, it seemed like at the end of this episode, both Jax and Jesse were both fighting really hard for these marriages to continue. But
Mhm.
it's so clear and evident how miserable everybody is in these marriages. What are your thoughts on that? Like, when is it time to kind of, I don't know, cut the
but
cord?
yeah,
Well,
you,
yeah,
you
I mean,
said
it-
it's not said as much kind of on last week's episode where you were just like your quality of life.
Right,
is,
right. That's not what you feel like. You don't stay in a marriage. Obviously, every marriage is work, and you got to put in that work. You have to be intentional about it, and you go through seasons. But if that season just continues to go and go and go and go, and there's not both sides, wanting to get it back together, again, he's saying, well, she'll have to bury me in the backyard.
Yeah,
What
when
does
you're
that say
answering
when you're answering
when
like
you're
that?
answer to conflict.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's
I'm not
like,
leaving, and neither is she.
as-
That's that's not quality of life.
That's
man.
kidnapping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a good.
Hostage.
That's not the sign of a
That's
good
it.
marriage.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like
that
you
the
know,
question?
we believe
Yeah.
in marriage, and we will never, so we'll always do the work, and we'll put in the work, and we'll always, that's
Right.
not what Jax is saying.
No.
Or Jesse.
Yeah.
And when
It's like
Jesse
the
was like-
embarrassment of divorce.
Yeah.
It bothers him more than I'd
Yeah.
be more embarrassed about how I treated my wife on camera.
Yeah.
yeah, big
Yeah.
time.
Does
Big
he
time.
have any remorse about that? Or do you guys know if like watching back, is he even watching the show back?
He doesn't watch most of the
I was
episodes.
like, he has a
right?
history of not watching.
He said, he says, no, I caught up on a couple episodes and but I'm just so busy and
So no.
pretty
No.
much.
No,
What's he
we're not
busy with?
working
Pretty
on
much.
his bar.
his bar. He's going on all these Canadian
He's gone
tours,
every week.
doing
What's up with those Canadian tours? They
I
seem to be
know,
like
public
They
appearances.
seem to be making rumors.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that
To that- to
that
which one?
rumor. The Canadian one with
Any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no, any of them. Come on, what you got?
Have you talked?
I mean, he was out, the other day. It was all over Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is like, have you talked to Brittany since any of the new?
No, we've been trying to
girlfriend?
plan a play date, so
Okay.
like we'll have some girl time and catch up soon.
Hey,
but
Listen,
Is
there
she
have
doing
been
okay?
some bombs that have been dropping,
yeah,
and
Because they're like still.
I
you're
don't
gonna
know
s-
if she's
you're
doing
gonna s-
okay.
You're gonna see it for sure on season 2. So I
Yeah.
feel like we can't talk about.
Are they
some
waiting
of
to
the
get
things.
divorced for season 2?
I don't know.
If
That-
I were Brittany and my man that I was separated from, and I asked him to do work to fix our marriage,
Yeah.
is now being seen with someone else, I would be like, okay, well,
Also, not
so
just
much for that.
being seen, but like taking her to the place of
Right.
where you both are co-owners in a bar.
He brought her to the bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were celebrating a birthday there.
Oh.
And then in a video, she yelled out, "I'm pregnant."
Oh.
After they sang "Happy Birthday," so she's funny.
She did?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I was
Yeah.
there.
So if I were
was
Brittany,
there
I would be,
earlier,
because I
but
was
not for the cake.
I was the conversation. I'm the girl talking to Brittany, like, well, maybe like if Danny talks to him, he'll like, really get into therapy and like put in some work. Like there's a chance if he's willing to change. And then at this point, I'm like,
She's still hopeful.
no, I was the one that was hopeful,
Yeah.
not necessarily Brittany. But now,
I think
I
she
haven't
was.
talked to her
I think she
since
was earlier
this.
on, but
Yeah.
it's as longer you're separated and the things that have been happening.
right?
Like separation and seeing what's
it's-
playing
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I'd
Also,
be
I
like,
just really
it's hard
enjoy
to-
seeing Brittany find her voice and
Yeah,
like
me
show
too.
her strength. Where she
Yeah.
jumped out, she's like, "I would go there," and just
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
when they were doing the interview at the beginning of the season, it was Kristen, Jackson, Brittany, and and Jackson's like, "I don't really want to talk about this."
She's like, "Well, I
separation."
will."
Oh my
She's
gosh!
like, "I will."
Yep.
Yeah.
I know Jason's there, arms crossed. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about it." I'm
Kristen's the awkward
sweating.
child in the middle. Like,
Exactly.
No,
Like when
I'm-
Kristen Doty doesn't know what to say, that's a moment.
No,
Right.
Big time.
That's a moment.
I am
time.
proud of Brittany. I feel like she's coming into like a strength and like a power of like just really knowing who she is and loving who she is and not taking BS from him or anybody
Mhm.
else. So I'm happy for her.
Yeah,
with that.
hopefully she can figure out how to separate.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
doing a podcast together doesn't seem
Uh,
sustainable.
And again, they got a kid together. That's just what breaks my heart.
Well, that-
you know
you
what
know,
I mean? It's like
There's
that's-
unfortunately, there are a lot of parents.
No, of
who-
course,
who,
that
have to co-parent,
co-parent,
and they make
and-
it
and
work.
they do,
and
and they do.
they choose to prioritize, obviously, really, truly the kids
right.
over their own petty differences or
Right.
things like that. But even that doesn't seem to what's going on.
Well,
But
it's
like having
that's what-
working
that's-
together and all this other stuff, it's like how
Right.
do you
Right.
Not easy.
Yeah.
it's like what Michelle said too when she was like, "I would rather co-parent and have my daughter see a healthy friendship versus an unhealthy marriage."
Toxic.
Yes.
Toxic.
And I agree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, other question, Kristen and Luke.
Mhm.
Is Luke any closer to picking his location? Is he Colorado still, or is he out here in Los Angeles?
No, he's
He's
back and forth.
Back and forth.
Oh yeah. I
Back
don't
and
think he's
forth.
gonna pick a location until they, hopefully have a
Have a
baby.
baby?
And then they'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they're good.
I mean, I don't know about you guys. Don't you usually want to figure things out before you have the baby? I don't.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's how they're approaching it. But yes, if I were
Understood.
in their shoes, I
Right.
would want
Understood.
to know
So-
where
well,
we're living.
I was so glad.
You're just relaying the message of what's going on.
I was so glad we sent our therapist, Dr.
Oh yeah, that was
Wagner,
our therapist.
who they ended up meeting with.
On the show,
and
they
he
met
brought
with
up all
Dr.
these
Wagner.
questions because
Yeah.
I said, dude, you got to get counseling about this stuff. If you aren't talking about like the foundational issues of not even, getting married, but having a child,
Yeah.
like you need professional help if you guys aren't able to be on the same page about these things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great scene. He was asking these questions and it was putting to light that they weren't having these conversations yet.
right.
So hopefully they'll continue to work with him or someone else that is can get those things answered.
Yeah, well, I hope to figure it out. They seem like a lovely couple.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're great together. Yeah, do you really feel that way?
Yeah.
I've never met Luke.
Uh-huh.
I consider Kristen her friend. I don't know her that well.
Mhm.
We have a lot of mutual friends. She's been on the show. We always appreciate her coming. She's excellent television.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yes,
it's been a challenge sometimes covering her while getting to know her in person because she has
Yeah.
such a lovely heart and she always means well. And then you know,
Right.
sometimes you watch it back and you're like, Kristen.
Exactly. All the
You
time.
know, like, you know, so, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can say this about Kristen. I know she does, like with Jax. I mean, I don't know him that well.
Right.
I can't say that the little bit I've known him that I think he has a good heart or good
Right.
character, that he even wants or cares about being a good person.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that. There's just there's no example of him giving a shit
Yeah.
about being a decent human being. And while Kristen, sure, she steps in it. She makes a lot of mistakes, but like at her core, you see that desire to be a good person.
Right.
And yeah, we all make mistakes. We all have work to do,
Right.
you know, but like to me, that matters. And
Yeah.
that desire to want to be a good person,
To want to be
to
better.
care about your character,
Yeah.
to care about who you are and how you treat people. And like, there's a night and day difference between Kristen Doty and Jax Taylor for me.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Well, guys, thanks for coming.
Thanks
it
for
was really a pleasure
having
getting to know
us.
you guys.
That's it.
Yeah. I feel like you guys got to get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we?
We got kids. We got to get home to our babies.
You're welcome to come back. We'd
This
love
is-
to have you back.
Yeah. This is like a date. We don't have our kids. My parents are
Time
watching
together.
the kids.
Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll see you in the Valley somewhere. We've been getting restaurant recommendations from watching the Valley.
Truly.
There
Have
you
you?
go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you in the valley? Where are you
We
at?
are in the Valley.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
not trying to get on the show.
I'm about to say. I'm about to say.
We've been in the Valley for 4 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
but if we do cross paths,
Yes.
say hi. you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
Likewise.
around. Yeah.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks
man.
for coming,
this
man.
Was great.
No,
So, do you want to
Yeah.
plug where people can find you and all
Yeah.
that fun stuff?
Real Nia Sanchez is my Instagram and all my social media. You are
Daniel Booko. At
And then-
Daniel Booko. And then our podcast.
Is Hold My Crown.
Okay.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. All the success to you guys going forward.
Appreciate
Please protect the relationship. I don't, it'll break my heart. I want you guys to be the one like couple that can make it on reality TV.
Yeah, dude.
We're rooting
There's been
for
some
you.
housewife
We're-
couples.
We're
Yeah.
turning the tables.
Yeah.
We're,
There you
we're
go.
flipping the
Flipping the script.
script.
Gotcha.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Thank you. I need you in my life. I have so many good sayings that I just can't remember.
Yeah,
There you
both
go.
of us.
So
Yeah.
close.
I'm here for you.
And some good quotes though too.
Yeah. Dad brain.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming and appreciate you guys listening. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@theviallfiles.com. We will see you back tomorrow for Going Deeper, where we will be going over the finale of Vanderpump, episode 3.
Part 3
Part 3,
reunion.
our reality roundup. Plus, we got Emma Hernan from Selling
Sun.
Sunset is with us. So, Vanderpump reunion part 3, some other pop culture topics, some other pop topics, and then Emma Hernan from Selling Sunset. What a wild show. And that's all tomorrow. So, see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.